Waste some time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green. It's Friday. I don't think we're always here on Friday, so this is a rare day, but I wanted to accommodate the schedules of my co-host this evening. Everyone is busy doing things, but last weekend we attended the Hollywood show in Burbank, California. I don't think it's actually in Hollywood, but that's okay. I won't hold it against them. And we had a good time. And if you guys watched the show 2 weeks ago, we were pre-gaming. We were talking about what collectibles we wanted to get signed, what photo ops we wanted to take, and then of course, would we actually meet Sparky Marcus? That's the $1 million question that people have been hounding me and blowing up my inbox with. So we're going to talk about all those things and much more right after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody out there to waste time with you. All right, and a couple quick programming notes. I've got some tickets to give away to the OC Hair Metal Festival, Meltdown. These silly names. OC Hair Metal Meltdown. I've got some tickets, and later in this show, we're going to give some away. And that's going to be with Vixen, and it's going to be your first chance to see the new lead singer of Vixen, Quiet Riot, Slaughter, and Great White. Wednesday, Sean and myself will all be there. So with any luck, you will get to meet us as well as hear some of your favorite hair metal bands as they melt down. Probably going to be a lot of meltdowns that night. One more programming note. I put out a video yesterday about the brand new Bon Jovi CD, Forever. Forever, it's not signed by John Bon Jovi. And I felt like it was a good thing to do. I've been in this collecting world for quite some time. I know an auto pen when I see one, and we put a video up, and the industry has been ablaze. If you received one of these Bon Jovi CDs, you can send it back for your money. They'll send you a label. And in the description of that video is that email address. And if you don't believe me, watch the video. We show examples. Today, my inbox has just been filled with people sending me the Bon Jovi CDs they received. There's about 4 variations, but there'd be 100 people who get the same signature. It's all a racket, and we're trying to make John Bon Jovi apologize. He's going to act like he had no knowledge of it, like those big rock stars do. But we are trying to demand that he bring Richie Sambora back to make up to it, to all his fans. Anyway, that's the programming notes. If you haven't seen the video, you can watch it after this. But let's get right to it. Joining me right now, here is Wednesday 13. How are you, Wednesday?
Hello. I'm here on a Friday.
I notice you have your big green hat, so we're probably going to go
green hat.
Probably going to go streaking. Yeah, down by the quad. And of course, the center square himself, malfunction. Sean Clark is here.
Oh, there he is.
Me and Paul Lind.
I was thinking the same. Yeah.
You got to look up at us, Sean. We got to get used to doing that. Like pretend like we're actually above you. Like.
Yeah. Sean's good at it. I sometimes forget my left from right. For those of you who've been under a rock in the pop culture world, Wednesday, I got distracted. Wednesday 13, formerly the singer of the Murder Dolls, singer of his own band, Wednesday 13. He'll be on tour later this year. Malfunction, host of Horror's Hollow Grounds on YouTube, among a bunch of other things he does as well.
Hey,
yeah.
I was just thinking of something when you were doing your intro there. You were saying about the possibility of some people might be able to meet us. Well, that'd be cool if they did get to meet Wednesday. That at least get to meet an original singer of a band. You know,
yes,
it occurred to me.
Band. Yeah,
it occurred to me. Mm-hmm.
Not like much could be said for that festival.
Mark Slaughter and Wednesday 13 will be the only 2 original singers. Although I will say Kevin DeBro has passed, so he cannot be there. And I don't want to say this too rudely, but I think Jack Russell may have passed as well. He just doesn't know it. It's okay. I think we could have the funeral for him right now. It might be slightly premature, but from what I'm hearing, he may not know where he is. And so he won't be there. I can guarantee that. But we're going to be there, and we're going to have fun. And for those who like to hear snarky comments and other things, we are the people. We might have our own section. You guys can join us. But the people at the Honda Center, which is a massive arena, they were nice enough to give us.
How is that even possible? I was just I was talking about this today to the lady, and she was like, "That's where we saw Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper." And I was just started laughing. I was like, "That's where we're going."
It's gonna be a meltdown. But maybe hair metal is back and bigger than we know. Maybe
I just saw Depeche Mode there.
Maybe we're gonna walk in and we're going to be amazed. I will say I've gone to a few of these, even when the arena maybe not be full. It is fun to see that kind of music in a big stage, big arena stage. I will say that much. And Sean's holding his laughter. When they gave me the tickets, the only stipulation to giving them away was that I don't make fun of the size of the crowd too much.
I mean, how much fun is it to see a bunch of old guys up there that don't run around on a giant stage they're not going to be running around on?
Well,
yeah.
Will they have Zoltan on drums? Because
no,
nobody will have to run around if they have that guy there.
No,
he makes up for all of it.
He will not be there. I look forward to explaining to you guys, though. I'm going to bring my Who's Who book so we can keep a score sheet of who the hell are in these bands. But anyway, somebody's going to win the tickets. I was told that the comments are going crazy right now with Wednesday's fans, and so Michelle is in there, and she is going to bring justice to anyone who is acting stupid. So don't act the fool.
Justice.
Thank you.
We're going to bring justice to these people.
Yes, and John Bon Jovi, who's a known forger. And Jay Lee Smith, thank you for the super sticker, getting things started. I got to make sure I at least buy these guys a Diet Coke when we get to the hair metal meltdown. So all your super chats today. And at the Honda Center, it's not cheap.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So out of the 4 bands, how many members are there total?
Total.
And how many are actually from the original band? Is there more or less?
Well, so I agree with you. The question is, can we make one band out of original members? So, well, I'll go through it then.
It's only 4 bands, right? 4?
Yeah.
There's 4 bands.
I need some more bands.
I'll keep track. I got a pin.
All right.
Yeah. Vixen has 1 original member. It's Roxy Petrucci. And
he's the only one?
She's it. So
wow.
we have a drummer. The other members of that band are Britt Lightning on guitar, Julia Lagie. She is married to Richie Kotzen of Poison, so hide your girlfriends or wives when he's around.
Which one? In Vixen?
His wife is the bass player in Vixen, yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to make a note that all of these bands have suffered a casualty. They have deceased members, all of them, right?
Well, the original guitar player for Vixen, Jan, has passed away at a young age. So that is our first original member and our first casualty.
First casualty, make a note there.
They are going to unveil their new singer for the first time ever. I do know who it is, and I'm going to keep the secret. It is Wednesday 13.
Got it.
That's why
I've been living on the edge of a broken heart.
Do you know who wrote that song, Wednesday?
Richard Marx, right?
Richard Marx, correct.
Wow. Maybe he's the new singer.
Maybe. Let's hope so.
That'd be great.
It could be. I was going to have the audience play trivia with you guys to sort of win the tickets, but the problem is everyone will just Google the answers, and then that would be fun. Okay, so we have our first.
We have our questions that are ungoogleable. Googleable.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Sparky Marcus trivia.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first band. That's Vixen. Now, Quiet Riot. Quiet Riot has, in my opinion, 1 original member. He is the Metal Health lineup. I consider that to be the original lineup. There are people who fight and say the original bass player is Kelly Garney, who played on the 2 Randy Roach Japanese-only records.
That is true.
People say that he's the original bassist of Quiet Riot?
They made 2 albums before Rudy joined.
That's
Rudy
true.
toured for the second one, and he's pictured, but Kelly Garney played bass on them. So some people say
0.
Yeah.
And Chuck Wright did play bass on some of the songs on Mental Health, including "Bang Your Head." I mean, I think if we run out of bass players, we still have Rudy, but we're going to count it. I guess
That's
Sean
right.
Sean is
The
the
goose
referee
egg.
here. Yeah.
Goose
So
egg.
that band also has Jizzy Pearl from Love Hate, and he was the other voice of RATT. He is the singer for Quiet Riot. The guitar player is Alex Grassi, who I ran into at dinner the other night. And then randomly, Eric Singer was at the next table too with Brent Fitz. It was an all-star dinner. Johnny and I got sick, so I won't name the place. And then the drummer is Johnny Kelly of Type O Negative, which is I am a fan. He also played the last time the Murder Dolls did a reunion type event. He was the drummer, right, Wednesday?
That is correct.
Yeah, so he'll be there. He was Frankie Benally's choice. I will say that. He filled in when Frankie was sick with cancer, and Frankie saw him, and he is the one who said, if something happens to me when I'm gone, he knew he was sick, that he would be the drummer. Okay, so that's that one. And then next up is Slaughter, which Slaughter is just tearing it up with the original members. They have Dana Strum of the Vinnie Vincent Invasion, and also of the Vinnie Vincent Invasion, Mark Slaughter. So you have a bass player. That's it.
Oh.
Their guitar player
Casualty.
tragically passed away
Casualty.
in a car accident, Tim Kelly. And we should mention that in Quiet Riot, I left it out, but Frankie Benally died of, I believe, pancreatic cancer, and Kevin DeBro died, I believe, of an overdose, just a few blocks from my house.
Will there be more casualties than original members? I believe so.
Well, that's a good. Sean, can you make a note of casualties?
Wait, yeah. Great White. How many members in Great White? I missed it, I guess.
No, we didn't get to Great White.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay.
But so far on casualties,
casualties. Hold on. Go ahead.
Nixon has 1. Quiet Riot has 2.
Okay.
Slaughter has 1.
Slaughter. Yeah. Okay.
And so now moving to Great White. I'm trying to think of how you phrased if they had casualties.
They did.
Right. Who am I forgetting? Well, one of the later. Well, let's go with the original members first. Okay. They're a tricky band too. What would be considered an original member? Mark Kendall, the guitar player, would probably be the only original member. But I think most people know the Once Bitten, Twice Shy lineup, which is
you got to go with the original EP.
Yes, and if you go with the original EP, it will start and stop with Mark Kendall from Great White. You would have 1 member. In that band, though, Michael Lardy, keyboards, rhythm guitar, and Audie Desbro on drums. They were there for the majority of the success.
So I'm not really up on Great White's current lineup. How many people are in the band currently?
There's 5 in the band.
They have 3, right?
5. Oh, that's working against them.
But 3 of them are what people know.
From the video from What's Bitten Twice Shy. They have 3 guys: keyboard, drummer, and guitarist.
Right. Wow. And the singer is a young guy. His name is Brett Carlisle. He's been on the show and he's very good. I don't always approve of bands changing and getting a guy who's half the age or more, but he's good and he definitely brings some life to them. They have a bass player named Scott Snyder who's been there for a while, but it's pretty much the 3 guys. If Jack Russell wasn't so terrible, they would probably have trouble competing. But because he is so bad, and I'm predicting right now we won't hear about him much longer. Yeah.
Now, Great White tragedies. Do we count all the people that died in Long Island?
Well, it was in Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Sorry, I knew it was an island.
Yeah, 100 people lost their life. Obviously, it's a terrible tragedy. I meet survivors from that fire all the time when we travel. The Great White situation is a tough one because it was really Jack Russell's solo band and Mark Kendall joined it so that they could call it Great White to get some money. The whole pyro argument is crazy. The tour manager went to jail. Yeah.
Somebody in the chat made a good point. Do we count Randy Rhoads as one of the Quiet Riot tragedies?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So how can I forget? Absolutely. One of the biggest tragedies in music history and legendary.
So do we have?
Right?
So let's say we won't count, not to discount the lives that were lost at the concert, but if we're sticking with just members, do we have any great white tragedies other than just the current situation of Jack Russell?
Well, yes, there's a bass player who is deceased, and I think his name is Lorne Black, but I don't want to say the wrong guy, but I think it's him. Maybe someone can look it up, but I believe one of the bass players for Great White has passed. And as far as the fire goes, one of the guitar players for Great White did lose his life. A young man named Ty Longley went back to get his guitar, is the theory. The fire burned fast. That place really was up in within 5 minutes. If you didn't get out, it's sad and a tragedy. You lost your life. So that is definitely counts. So maybe they should call it the hair metal tragedy meltdown.
Yeah.
Do you
I
think
don't
that the
know.
Honda
We've
Center
just turned this morbid, and then you're going to give tickets away. People are going to give them back.
Do you think the Honda Center is going to give me tickets to the next event to give away, or do you think this is where it ends?
I think we've ruined our giveaways. We're horrible. We've just made the worst poll of all time.
Or it could be working the opposite. We could be tugging on people's heartstrings, and they could be going to this show, because of their,
like a wake.
Yeah, like a wake. This could be a big heavy metal wake, big hair metal wake.
I can't believe they're not going to add some more bands to that. There's room for one more, maybe 5 more.
Maybe even one that draws.
A big open casket hair metal. You throw your flowers. They should have the voice of RATT, Stephen Pearcy. That's who should be there. We've done these before, and he usually headlines. Maybe they didn't want to shell out the dough. Regardless, we are going to have fun, and I think that the people who go will have fun too. Most people are so young; they don't even know what they're watching. And I've seen all these bands, and most of them are pretty good and fun. And you know the songs. And what I like about these big lineups is that they're going to play shorter sets. You're not going to have to hear. Yeah, you're not going to get 2 hours. There's no Jazz Odyssey. They're not going to play anything experimental. You're going to get the hits.
So who headlines?
Great White.
What?
That's
I think it's weird too. I know. They watch the show, so I have to be careful. But it's going to be.
Think Slaughter would be headlining.
I mean, maybe so. I guess. Yeah, I guess they would be the headliner. I thought Quiet Riot would headline.
Slaughter has at least the real singer.
They have the right, and I think Dana Strum is probably fighting that point. Quiet Riot goes on before Slaughter, and I think Dana Strum said, "Now listen, we have 2 original members, including the voice, and Quiet Riot has had much more tragedy." So I don't know, but it's going to be fun to see all of them. And that show, by the way, is June 21st. I think that's a Saturday. Might be a Friday. I
think it's a Friday.
So it's a week from today.
Wednesday and I are going to head over to Sean's place early to pregame, see what Sean's got in the refrigerator.
Yes.
And then we can all park. We could all carpool over to the Honda Center for an evening of melting down and metal. Question from Born Distracted: is the new singer for Vixen a blonde? And I will reveal that the singer for Vixen is not a blonde. So, yes.
Do they still have a keyboard player? Do they still have a keyboardist?
They do. He's a young Asian man.
I know. I watched a video of them, and their keyboard mix was really high in the mix, and it made it. You're already kind of at a Vixen concert, going, "Man, I'm at this Vixen concert. What can make me feel even a little less?" The keyboards high in the mix. It's just not good.
Well, we're going to keep an eye out for it.
We're going to keep an eye. I'm going to be listening for that keyboard. So when we're at that show and I lean over to you guys and go, "That keyboard's too high in the mix," you're going to know what I'm talking about.
Well, Richard Marks liked it that way. Sean's going to give us a final tally, I believe.
But how many members are in Vixen currently?
1.
No. How many total?
4. Oh, total 4.
Oh, okay.
The keyboard player doesn't count. He's there, but he's not in the pictures and things. He's sort of an added.
He's like the keyboardist and Poison. He's off to the side. Right.
That's right.
Okay, so here's our results. So how many original band members are performing that night? 4. out of 4 bands. 4. How many casualties have there been? 5. More casualties than original members.
Okay.
How many non-members? 13.
Wow.
That's a lucky number.
We could probably play on that bill, and we have the original singer of Wednesday of the Murder Dolls at Wednesday 13. We could probably headline.
We could.
I will say that yes, tragedy does triumph in this case over members, but there are enough to make one original band. You could take Roxy on drums, Dana on bass, Mark could sing, and Mark Kendall on guitar, and you could have an all-star band of original members. Very rare. Very rare. Anyway, I know people tuned in to hear about Sparky Marcus, the original member of Sigmund and Sea Monster. Although I think he's second season, so maybe he's not the original. He was 5.
Cousin Oliver, but you know,
he definitely has the Cousin Oliver thing. So I headed out to Los Angeles, and the Collectors Show, Hollywood Collectors Show, is Friday and Saturday. It was at the Burbank Marriott. It's a fun show. Sean and I have talked about how we'd been going to that show when it was called the Courts Show. A guy named Ray Courts ran it.
Ray Courts Hollywood Show.
The Courts Hollywood Show, yeah.
But you know, funny thing you mentioned, I don't think that show has ever been in Hollywood. It started in Studio City.
Mm-hmm.
Then it moved to over by LAX. Then it's in Burbank. It never has been in Hollywood, I don't think.
Yes, that's a good point. They're kind of like the Angels mixing up the title, the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles. It's a little ridiculous, but
I'm a big fan of the Los Angeles Dodgers of Anaheim myself. But
they might do that next. But we went to, it was in Studio City, as you say, a hotel called the Beverly Garland. The fun thing about the Beverly Garland Hotel is that Beverly Garland was an actress herself. She was on My 3 Sons, and she was in the great movie The Alligator People. And if you stayed in the hotel, she had a channel that just was about her career. It was on a loop, and it would be like 25 minutes of Beverly Garland's greatest hits. I watched it, hours on end, and then you would see her in the lobby, and then she would sometimes stop in, obviously, and sign autographs. We've talked about some of the people that we met at that show. At the time, you think, okay, this is cool. But now looking back 30-something years later, it's pretty incredible the people that we got to meet. And Sean and I, we talked about it. We met a lot of the same people. Halloween 3. Who would have known that we would have met the main villain from Halloween 3
Dan
at
O'Hara.
a collector show?
Yeah. Dan O'Hara, aka Connell Cochran from Halloween 3, also the old man from RoboCop, and Last Starfighter.
It was probably the last appearance he made. He was already.
I think it was the only one. I think it's the only show he ever did. One time, and he already had early dementia at that point. His wife was like telling him what to write and stuff.
He was definitely showing his age at that point and health. But we talked about Don Knotts and Norman Fell and Mickey Rooney. Yeah, all of these crazy people that you just never thought you would meet. And then they'd have like voice actors. They had one of the main guys from Song of the South. I think he was Brer Bear. And it was crazy. Like now you look back and you think any of those legendary things, most people have passed. And I have made the point that back then, a black and white photo was $5 and a color photo was $10. And it's amazing that they thought there needed to be a $5 difference in the color fee. Then it went up to 10 and 15 and then 20. And now I feel like we're at 40 and 60. Color is no longer a factor, but as it is in most states. But the prices have gotten a little high. So last episode, when we were all together, we went through to pick out who it is we wanted to meet. Actually, Wednesday and I were talking about going, and we read the list. Sean he hadn't seen the list. And when we said there was a guy named Sparky Marcus, we didn't really know what it was. Sean leapt out of his seat and went into his archives, and he found a Sigmund the Sea Monster cast photo that was only missing Sparky Marcus. He also talked about his friend or former friend now when he finds out that you met Sparky on your own. But he was a massive Sparky Marcus fan. I never knew that Sparky Marcus would become such a part of my vocabulary.
Well, here's a question too. I was going to Google this, but I figured I would just ask you, Sean. So, how old was he on that show? How old was he?
I'm guessing it was probably like, you say 5?
I think so. I think I read that.
Oh, I was gonna say probably like 7, but I don't know. He was
I think
young.
I read he started at 5. I was
so
one
of his photos at the table I saw of him, and my brain went into overdrive. Like, I've seen him in something else. Did he, I don't know, did he play the son of the owner of WKRP on an episode?
Well, I'm looking at
I'm actually on his IMDb right now.
Because I feel like I've seen this kid play it. There's been a little.
Yes,
little,
he was Arthur Carlson Jr. Arthur Carlson Jr.
I knew it. I knew it.
Amazing. He was also on What's Happening.
Yep.
Same year, and he was on Maude.
I remembered him from the Hardy Boys.
The Hardy
Boys. I remember
yeah.
Mr. Carlson. That was his son. He was just creeped out because he didn't know how to take care of kids or a radio station.
He was born in 1967. It's hard to believe because he looked like he might be a little older.
Then I was right, because he was on Sigmund in 74.
74, yeah. It says here the show ran from 73 to 74, but he came in on the second season. And he played Shelby. But that's just a Sparky Marcus tease. We'll talk more about our interaction with him. Did he call the police on us? For stalking him. This was his first appearance. So I went on Friday to try to beat the crowd a little bit, and I had a lunch. Michelle and I had lunch with Wednesday at Bob's Big Boy, which is a Burbank a staple. I went right from the airport. We picked you up, went to Bob's, and then we went over to the collector's show. The main thing I wanted to do was to get Barbara Eden out of the way, because I thought she could probably have a long line. I did get my Funko Pop signed by Barbara Eden, and she's got a great signature. And for an older woman, I think she turned 92 the day before the show. She looked great, and she had her faculties, and she was walking around and talking, and it was very cool. She was at that show at the Beverly Garland 30 years ago. So it was crazy to see that she's still doing these conventions and likes it. They sell these genie bottles, replica bottles. They're not cheap. They were like, some of them were $1,000 or more. And I can't believe how many.
They were that much? I saw them. I didn't see the price on them. I was thinking like it'd be cool if one of them was a bong.
Well, that would be cool. I think they were like 500 to 1,000 and maybe even more. And I mean, who knows? I didn't need it in my collection that much, but I did have her complete my photos that were signed by Larry Hagman and Bill Daly, and she was very nice. I do have some pictures to share from these meetings, because everyone loves pictures, and hopefully this won't lock up my screen. If it does, you guys can carry on. Hold on. This here is Barbara Eden, 92 years young, and she only looks a little younger than me. And there she is, and a nice lady. I will be honest, I looked around at some of the women at the convention, and I decided, and I think, Sean, you might have been in on this. We said that if we had to, or if we came down to it, we would have relations with Barbara Eden.
Yeah.
He's not proud of it, but
I'm not proud of it either.
Mm-hmm. We thought that, and there was some people there that were 100 years younger, but we still thought that a lot of people commenting, saying she's hot, and so we could anyway, we contemplated it. Let's take a look and see what else I have from that show. That day I wanted to meet the. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
I was gonna say, but I had to say Lee Purcell from Valley Girl by far looked the best as for her age. I mean, she looked almost the same as she did in Valley Girl.
Mm-hmm. Like how she looked in the movie.
Yeah.
And
You
you
know
had
you know who didn't look good for their age?
uh-oh. Oh.
The girl that you kept saying you were on Dawson's Creek with her.
Monica Keena.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I was gonna text you and be like, "Ooh!" I finally realized who that girl was, because
She was, yeah.
our song was featured in that remake of Night of the Demons, and she's the main girl in that. And I didn't
Freddy
realize
versus
that.
Jason.
And then my brain just went, "Oh my god!"
Wow.
Wow.
Sean had warned us. Sean represented her for a while, and
Man.
because she was in one of the Halloween movies. Oh, Freddy versus Jason. You just said it, yeah. And
Yeah.
she was in a relationship with Edward Furlong, who they both
Still
had
is.
substance issues. Still is. Okay, well, they were there together. They were sitting next to each other. They had some substance issues. They seemed a little bit like, at one point, they were like the Sid and Nancy of collectors, but they seemed healthy at the show.
Well,
But
Edward did.
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
she seemed like, I mean, she seemed okay. She seemed okay, but he seemed really good. He's looks like he's really gotten his shit together, and I think he's the one that's keeping her from going over the cliff at this point.
I mean, wow. I mean, what a change. And I'm not making fun of her at all. I really just couldn't believe, like, and that's wow. Wow. That's all I'm gonna say. Wow.
Yeah,
Say it one more
well,
time.
I give her credit for going out and doing these shows. It's not an easy thing to do, especially being a young woman who is signing sex symbol pictures, bikini photos. She just got 200 more of them from Sean because when Sean represented her, he had a bunch of photos sitting around the house, and he went and donated them to her table. She showed up. She stayed there. She didn't look like she was trying to cop in the parking lot or anything like that. I'll show a picture of Edward in just a minute. But so that first day, I was celebrating Black History Month. I wanted to meet the cast of Good Times. And there they are from left to right. You have Ralph Carter, who played Michael. You have Bernadette Stannis, who played Thelma. And of course, Jimmy J.J. Walker, Kid Dynamite. And I was excited to meet the three of them. Ralph Carter's a controversial guy. If you Google him, there's all kinds of crazy things they say about him.
He looks completely sane.
Yeah.
He looks like Miss Cleo. When you showed me that photo, I was like, "Who got in that photo with you?"
Mm-hmm. But he sounded exactly the same. And what's funny with these photo ops is, so you have a minute where you talk to them, and I never have much to say. You just take the photo. But I told Jimmy I'd see him in Vegas because he plays here in Vegas. I'd like to see his stand-up, and he didn't hear me. And Bernadette Stannis says, "You got to tell him louder." And she said, "James, James." And I thought of his father on TV, John Amos. But then he said, "Oh yeah, Vegas. I'll be at the Ahern." And but it was funny because Ralph Carter, Michael, he was talking to kids walking by and saying, "Hey, how you doing in school?" And he really sounded like his character, like he was going to say, "Are you familiar with the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King?" And for those who haven't seen Good Times, Michael was sort of the young student studying Black history and was sort of militant about Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X and some of these legends. So it was funny hearing their voices. I was happy to take that photo. These people are getting older. I went to school in Harlem when I was a kid. It was 85% African American. And when I would come home from school, we would watch some of these Norman Lear shows. Who knew a little old white man was behind these shows about the ghetto, if you will. But so I did that on the first day. And then Michelle wanted to meet. She was interested in the Lost Boys, as a lot of people were. Here is Billy Worth. And he said that he would come on the show. I didn't ask. We were just chatting, and he said he has some music that he made in the 90s and that he's thinking about re-recording it and releasing it. And so who knows? But boy, he was nice.
I bet it's sexy.
The music is
Whatever it is.
sexy.
I bet it's sexy. I bet it's got some sexiness to it because he's exuding like some sexiness there. I kept admiring him. I'm like, this guy's in shape. He doesn't look, he looks just as, I mean, look at this guy.
He looks like the guy, which is nice when you meet somebody. It's nice when they still look like the guy.
Yeah.
And you know, Sean, for those who don't know, is a convention agent. He books a lot of people to do these appearances. He books Alex Winter, who was making a movie at the time, who was in Bill and Ted, but also in The Lost Boys. And Sean does have Billy Worth's jacket in his house. They wanted Sean to display the jackets, and maybe it's a good thing Sean didn't bring anything else to display. I'll tell that story in just a minute, but there was a bit of a tragedy that occurred while we were having a lunch. But listen, I don't want to give it all away right away. But Billy Worth was very nice, and I feel like when you go to these conventions, when you have an experience with someone and they seem genuine and they seem talkative and interested, it's kind of cool, and it makes you think good things of them, and you want to meet them again or spend money. At the end of the day, this is a business, but it's nice when I sometimes am surprised when they ask, "So what do you do?" I'm thinking, "Oh, I had no idea we were going steady or going to have a conversation." But he was very cool. And then sitting with him was Jameson Newlander. I think I got that right, and he is Alan Frog, one of the Frog brothers. And I'm going to show Michelle's picture with him because she looks better than me. Here she is with Alan Frog, Jameson Newlander, and he was very cool too. And he had a good selection of things at his table. I think sometimes people don't bring enough. He had nowadays the 12 by 18 movie poster is sort of the standard thing that people would like to get, and he was the only one who had them. So we met him, and then since we're talking about him, we might as well. Talking about that first day, we might as well mention here is Kissy Face himself, Edward Furlong, and I felt like a little bit of a cuck while I stood there, and Edward Furlong made kissy faces with Michelle, but it was all in good fun. And I tried to have a talk with him about. I had met him with Ron Jeremy a few times. There's a famous meme that goes around of him and the two of them together.
You have that picture handy?
No, that's the picture I wanted him to sign.
Do you have that picture handy so we can show the people?
I'll have it.
Yeah, I'll find it. Yeah, I'll find it. I have a picture of me with the two of them, and I kind of think that maybe I should probably that photo. I should probably share my version. I look great compared to these two. So Ron Jeremy was in a movie called Detroit Rock City, and so was Edward Furlong. And we'll take this out. Hold on. And there was this meme, and I've seen different versions of it, where it says something like, "That was the roughest night of my life," or "I can't believe it," or you'll and then sometimes they show Edward Furlong and they say, "Look what Ron Jeremy turned into." There's a lot of jokes at their expense, and who would I be to not continue that? Here they are.
To see to have that picture autographed is amazing.
How lucky would you feel if you were that guy in the background with the red beard? Just get to be in this iconic photo, and you look like the most together dude.
I know where that's the rainbow. I know exactly where that is. You can see the
it's outside patio, right?
Yeah, I can picture it right there.
I'm going to share my photo next time of me with Ron and Edward Furlong in that same convention. Yeah.
You know what? Ron Jeremy kind of, with that shirt on, kind of got a Higgins vibe from Magnum.
I didn't think of that.
He needs two Dobermans beside of him and a British accent.
But do you think that he could self-fillet himself? I think not.
Higgins, or I hope so.
Well, Ron could definitely do it. He did it many times in his cinematic career. It's amazing that the Academy didn't recognize him for that. So the first day, it is good to go there. It opens at 4 and it goes to 8. The lines are shorter, and I bet you that you see a lot of celebrities questioning their existence. Why did I come here? There's nobody here. But they're all waiting for that Saturday. That night, we went to see The Damned at the Fonda Theater. And yeah, look at that, sporting the shirt. And that was
I
nice.
bought a T-shirt. I don't normally get T-shirts, but I enjoyed that show so much. I need a T-shirt. Grab me one.
And the night before, I went to see.
Yeah,
and I got a T-shirt.
I saw Spinal Tap, None More Black.
Yes,
nice one.
But it was a fun time. We were all seeing cool concerts. There was a lot going on. When LA's firing right, there's always something cool happening. And
Yeah.
when it's not
Orange County, that was Bad Religion was in Orange County.
Yeah, well, it was the Orange County of Los Angeles.
There you go.
But anyway, and then Saturday morning, we decided we were all going to meet bright and early. Sean needed to get to the convention by 9 a.m. because he agreed to let them display a piece of his collection. And Sean, for those who don't know, I mean, he has an amazing collection. You can see parts of it on his YouTube channel. But he does have an original Witchy Poo a costume. For those who don't know what Witchy Poo is, I mean, maybe there's someone watching. Sid and Marty Krofft, creators of legendary 70s children's television, although I think adults liked it too, especially if they were smoking things or taking things. It was definitely a mind-altering experience to watch those shows. But H.R. Pufnstuf was definitely the Mickey Mouse of Sid and Marty Krofft. And Witchy Poo, played by Billy Hayes, was the villain. And so right here in this picture, you can see the Witchy Poo costume. Sean, tell me what's original about this and what you had to add.
Everything is original except for the hat. So, I mean, obviously a head isn't original. Billy Hayes left with that. But the costume is all original except for the hat.
Right. And where did you find it?
It was in an auction.
Yeah.
And it was donated to Planet Hollywood by Sid's brother, Marty. And I have photos from when he was there he's holding the costume up and Billy Barty's standing next to him or below him. So,
and next to the costume, there's a picture. It's in a frame and you can't see it here. It's a beautiful glass frame, sturdy glass frame, probably the strongest frame.
It's a tremendous frame. It's the strongest frame of all time.
It's fantastic. But tell me,
all the people are talking about the frame.
Tell me what is. I got another picture of it because people want to see the frame.
It was a concept painting of Spotty, the polka dotted horse from H.R. Pufnstuf, and you can see Will and Holly peeking over from behind there in the photo. And Smooth Criminal himself, Corey Feldman with Sid Krofft, and holding Freddie the Flute, a replica made by the same gentleman that does the genie bottles. But yeah, that was original artwork from 1969, I believe.
Wow.
And I got that in the Sid and Marty Krofft auction in Hollywood, Beverly Hills, back in 1998.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, it's a very cool piece. And you said at the time you got it for a good price, but you said there wasn't much in that auction at the time that you could afford. Things were going pretty crazy. Luckily,
not crazy, but beyond my means back in 1998.
Yeah, and it's before you had that Walking Dead money. Joking. Sean represents Norman Reedus and Jeffrey Dean Morgan of the and others from that show. But so this is it's a priceless piece of art, and it's amazing that you were nice enough to bring it to the convention. Dave Eckelby, who runs the Hollywood show, and he's probably watching. He shared this video, which is nice. Was happy that you displayed Witchy Poo and the original Spotty artwork. So we walked around, and you go to these conventions and you try to decide, what am I going to get signed first? Sean set up home base in the back. I'll get this signed, then I'll get that signed. I always panic at these conventions. I panic that the person I'm waiting for will drop dead, at their table, and some people look like they might, or they'll leave. I was going to wait online for Janet Leigh at Beverly Garland. And my friend kept telling me, no, we don't got time for this. You'll get her next time. And of course, there was no next time. You always have to, don't ever wait. If you're at these things, take advantage.
Never got Janet?
No, I got her through the mail. She signed through the mail, but I never did the formal thing. And I regret it. Talk about a legend. I say all the time, there's only so many real Hollywood legends who are associated with the brand that are still living. Janet Leigh in the shower will be history forever. But living, Henry Winkler, Fonzie, the Fonz will always be an icon. There's not many TV icons like that. And when he's finally gone, people will go, oh my God, you were able to meet him. He does tons of conventions. And there's a few others of those types. I was meeting with Evel Knievel's family, and we were saying, if he had just lived a little longer for the convention explosion, he would have made so much money, as would have so many of these other people. But Barbara Eden, Jeannie, these are TV icons that will always be in our lives. Anyway, we decided to have some lunch. Sean knew a fancy restaurant in the neighborhood because he's connected, and was able to get us a table. Yeah, he got us a table. We went to it's right across the street. We walked right across the street, right by the airport, and we went to it's a new place called McDonald's. I think it's going to take off.
McDowell's.
Right, McDowell's. If you saw Sean's videos in Japan, he tried the finest cuisine of McDonald's in Japan, and I think he wanted to see if Burbank would stand up. They didn't have any teriyaki items or fillet of shrimp.
Nope.
Which they did have in Japan. So McDonald's has really gone to hell. It used to be so much fun, and they had and we should say there is a connection between Sid and Marty Krofft and McDonald's.
Yeah.
The connection is that Sid and Marty Krofft sued McDonald's because the McDonald Land characters pretty much were a ripoff of H.R. Puffin stuff.
Mayor McCheese was clearly Mayor H.R. Puffin stuff. I mean, it totally was.
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. Back then,
same shape and everything.
Everything. And the little fry guys, and every character was something similar to H.R. Puffin stuff. And there was a payday. Sid and Marty Krofft made a little money. I think maybe that might have been a bigger payday than some of the other things they did. It's funny how that happens. When I worked for Troma had a big lawsuit with New Line Cinema. New Line was looking to make the movie The Toxic Crusader, which is the children's version. And it seemed like they were tying it up to get the rights to the Ninja Turtles, and they didn't want to have all these toys. Anyway, there was a lawsuit. I probably shouldn't say much, but Troma made more money on a lawsuit than they made on any of their movies. And so it's funny how legal sometimes protects these brands. So anyway, we nowadays you go into McDonald's and they have robots. You order digitally.
Cool.
Sean,
I liked it. I loved it.
Sean refused it. He said, I will not succumb to this new technology. I'm going to go. And I'm usually with him, but he went over and he talked to a human. It was hard to get them out of the back, but he did place his order. And
but he got his food last, though, and we used the machines. Was that right?
We used the machines. And what the question that everyone asked me when I described this experience was, what did Wednesday eat? And for some reason, I didn't pay attention. What did you eat at a McDonald's?
I remember. He had chicken nuggets.
Chicken McNuggets and fries and barbecue sauce. You got to say it like that when you say barbecue sauce.
And I have to comment that Wednesday on the way back to the hotel was going, that was really pretty good.
It was. McDonald's like once every 6 months, 8 months is pretty good. I have it in Europe. Haven't had it since Europe, and it was all right. I'm into it.
My favorite moments when we are on the show together talking is the things that we've saved up in our memory to bring up, but also my new favorite thing is when people ask us to play like the FMK game or whatever.
There they come.
Wednesday's reactions are incredible. And for those who don't know, we once played the game with G.I. Joe characters. Those are action figures. me and Sean really couldn't help, but Wednesday knew exactly what he was going to do. He was so passionate. And then, of course, Bojangles Gate happened. They asked between F. Marry Kill, Bojangles, KFC, or Popeyes. Me and Sean thought it was so obvious that Bojangles was going to take a walk, but no.
You know,
but then the redneck came out in him.
It did. You know, you were talking about McDonald's. I saw a McDonald's joke online. If people will get this, you know, the Marilyn Manson rumor that he had his ribs removed so he could, you know, perform fellatio. I saw someone say that Ronald McDonald had the McRib removed so he could do the same thing. It's the rumor.
Yeah, just a rumor.
Just a rumor. Just don't pass that around, but well, maybe get it around. I don't know, but that's the word. McRib has been removed just so he could do that.
It may be true. I think they call that a McRib. But
I have a story. I have a quick story. And this really happened today. I was standing out in front of my house talking to a neighbor. And this kid comes walking by, this surfer-looking kid who looks like Spicoli from Fast Times, and he works at McDonald's by my house. And the funny thing is, for whatever reason, they let him do the voice of when you pull up, it now goes, "Welcome to McDonald's. Do you like to use a mobile app today?" And it's like every time it's the same, and it's him. And,
wow.
And I had heard that, and I'm like, this guy's like California, and then I finally met him like at the drive-through one day, and he's like, this, and I recognized immediately, but I'd never said anything to him. He's walking by my house, and I go, "Hey, I know you." I go, you work at McDonald's?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "You're the voice of the drive-through." And he's all, "Yeah." And I go, "You're famous." And he's like, and he just walked away.
I was going to say, he's famous. Yeah. All the celebrities that we've met, sometimes meeting the voice that you hear often in your life is a big unmasking. That was like Kiss. You unmask the voice, and he sounds like he lived up to the Spicoli hype.
He sounds exactly the way he looks.
Yeah, you could picture it. Sean, did you ever get to meet Billie Hayes, who was the actress who played with you?
Yes, I did. Didn't get a photo with her. That's my big regret, but I did have her sign at least 2 or 3 items. Oh,
I met her at the Beverly Garland at one of those conventions, and I got a picture with her. Sort of, she leaned over the table, and I was glad I got it. It was such a part of my childhood. We're all around the same age, and that character, it was just so crazy. I just couldn't imagine kids these days maybe understanding. But anyway, and so I'm going to get to some more of these comments and questions as we go on. And if someone wants to super chat, I will stop the proceedings so that we can.
If I met her twice, I think I met her twice. I'm trying to find the other thing I had her sign. Let's see if. I think I met her twice. I met her once at the show you're talking about, and then I think I met her at an event at the TV museum history or whatever the hell it's called.
This is Sean Brown. He's one of the most loyal viewers of the show. I don't when people pay, I don't even pre-screen the comment, so I'm going to read this, and this is going to pay for the Diet Cokes at the Honda Center. It's going to be sold out. We're barely going to be able to get in.
Well, now that we've pumped it up the way we have.
Well, we talk so positive. It says, "Hello, everyone. Sean, has there been a time when you wanted to buy a collectible, but had to pass because of lack of space to display?" This is a good question. "I've bought so many movies during my life that I have now run out of room. I don't want to become a hoarder." Good question.
I would answer it if I was getting a cut of that $50, but since I'm not, I'm going to decline to answer it just to piss off Jason's fans. Now,
all right, I'll answer it for him.
Well, I know I am out of significant space at this point. I'm trying to. I think there was something I wanted that I was like, oh, I'd love to have that, but it's just too effing big. I know I've passed on stuff because things are too big, but off the top of my head, I can't. I'll think about it while we're talking. If I can come up with something,
Have you ever thought about like a famous car or something crazy like that?
There was a time, I wish I had the money, man. This is going back again to the 90s. There was a time on eBay, believe it or not, Pickford's car from Dazed and Confused came up, the Judge. Now, it wasn't a real Judge. It was a kit car, a replica, but it wasn't a real Judge. But just to be able to own the one that was in Dazed and Confused, that would have been awesome. I just didn't have the money at the time. I was still living with my mom. Yeah.
I remember those kind of years because the Sanford and Son truck, there was crazy cars that would come up on eBay that were real. And the deals were actually pretty good. But like you said, 25, 30, 35 years ago, that we didn't have the money. It seemed like $1 million. I will never forget an ad in Kung Fu magazine. Bruce Lee's widow, Linda Lee, found 100 checks that he signed, and she wanted to sell them. I was in high school at this time. So they were $500 a piece. I said, oh my God, I really wish I could afford one. Well, that's a $5,000 check or so now. I mean, it's crazy. And so it's funny how many deals we saw. You never knew how much collecting was going to take off. There's pieces in my collection that I didn't think would become as valuable. I'm sure this goes for all of us, things we just thought were fun. And then the next thing you know, they become quite collectible. But yeah, space is a consideration. And anyway, it was a good question. So we're in McDonald's having a nice lunch. And I say this all the time. I'm not a vlogger. Sean doesn't really consider himself a vlogger either. I mean, occasionally we will film things we do, but not daily. It's not our daily life. You don't see everything we do. Also, sometimes you want to have a personal life. Sometimes holding a phone in front of your face seems like a task. But that day I said, you know what? We're all going to have a good time at the convention. I don't need to make content. That's usually when the best stuff happens. So Sean gets a phone call, and I knew something was up. I looked at Wednesday. I knew something was up. And then by his reactions, I said, oh my God, somebody stole Witchy Poo. Yeah, I thought someone grabbed Witchy Poo and we're going to see him running by the McDonald's, and we're all going to have to chase. We're going to have a carnival. Three lunatics with black hair chasing a guy with a ski mask carrying Witchy Poo. Well, that wasn't the case. So when you got the phone call, Sean, what did they tell you?
So it was Dave Eckelby, and he's like, Sean, where are you? I said, oh, across the street at McDonald's having lunch. You need to get over here. And I immediately panic. I'm like, what happened? And fortunately, it wasn't as bad as what you thought it could have been. Somebody had knocked over the painting. It hit the ground and the glass shattered everywhere. Fortunately, the painting wasn't damaged. One little pinhole in the painting, but otherwise it was fine. And it sucked that happened.
Well, it was scary, especially before we got in to see it, because we didn't know anything other than it had fallen to the ground and that the glass broke. I try to watch other people's YouTube vlogs. I can't stand watching most of these people. Some of them are really, really terrible.
I saw some bad ones.
The German guy in Venice is awful. But some of these people.
What do you mean you don't like his vlog? He goes and he saw the Corey Feldman. He was there with the hat and the Michael Jackson.
It's terrible. But I wanted to see if anyone had video of your picture smashing to the ground. That's why I watched. Yeah, because that would have added some interest. Then you got a second phone call. Who is that?
It's Danny Cooksey from Bad to Good. Bad for Good? Hold on. Hey, dude. I'm in the middle of a live podcast right now. Can I call you? Okay, I'll call you. Oh.
Now, for those watching, Danny Cooksey was in a band called Bad for Good, but he was also Sam on Different Strokes. Wednesday is a big fan. he has a framed autograph right there. Of Dan.
It was any other weekend, it wouldn't fucking matter.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's one of those fucking weird deals.
No worries. Okay, I'll let them know.
So apparently,
Okay, we'll do.
Back out of the convention, it sounds like. Now, it's
Yeah.
so funny that you mentioned this because a few reasons. One, I told the story about meeting Edward Furlong with Ron Jeremy. Danny Cooksey was sitting next to him. I was going to bring it up, but I thought, is anyone really going to care that? And so I left that part of the story out. And I do have a picture of me with Danny and Ron. Is he a client of yours?
Yeah. Do you want him on the show? I could probably get
I
him
would
to
love
your
to
show.
have him on. He would be great because Bad for Good, which was actually pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah.
Thomas McRocklin was the guitar player, and he was a child prodigy. He played Steve Vai in the music videos, and they had a great ballad called "Nothing Great About a Heartache." They had good songs. I just think the gimmick about being kids was hard. They had a hard time playing venues because they weren't old enough to get into a lot of the venues. The drummer went on to have the most success.
Who's the drummer?
I don't know. I'll look it up. But
He's in Avenged Sevenfold now.
That's pretty big. Is his name Chad Wackerman, I think?
I don't know his name. I was actually watching a drum cam of that guy playing the other day, and he's pretty solid.
He's the guy that replaced the Rev.
I think so, and they may have had someone before him, but he's their current guy they've had for a bit now.
His name is Brooks Wackerman. I believe his father was also a musician, but he played. He was a touring member with Blink-182, Infectious Grooves, Suicidal Tendencies, The Vandals, Avril Lavigne, and Korn. He also played with Fear and the Nervous System. I take that back. Tenacious D. His brother is Chad Wackerman. He was in Bad Religion from 2001 to 2015.
I'm sitting there going, I know that name. How did I know Chad Wackerman? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he was in Avenged Sevenfold from 2015 to present. The brother, I believe, he played with Frank Zappa, Alan Holdsworth. I remember he was a Zappa guy, and I had
Gotta
seen
be
him.
good then.
Yeah, a talented family. But anyway, I would love to. Sean, we'll talk about it. I'd love to have him.
Yeah,
on.
It's crazy that he called because I was actually I think I was even gonna bring it up on this show that I think he'd be a great guest for you. And of course, I mean, those maybe some that don't know watching, he was the redhead mullet kid in T2 who was John Connor's friend.
That's right.
I looked exactly like that kid when I was that age, except my hair was blonde. I looked just like him. I mean, identical. Like it's pretty ridiculous.
Wednesday actually has a framed photo of him in arm's length. How funny that he called. And then also we're going to meet Dudley the day after the hair metal meltdown.
Yes.
And if you really want to play the 6 degrees of Dudley.
Exactly.
Carlson,
Sparky Marcus, WKRP. Look, the triangle is you see there?
Sparky Marcus.
You want to see Shavar Ross at Dark Delicacies?
At Dark Delicacies, we should mention it. But Mr. Carlson, Sparky Marcus played his son, and then Shavar Ross was almost molested by Mr. Carlson. They played Neptune in the sea in the bathtub, which tormented all of us. But Wednesday and I want to tell him what that meant to us. I
was really weird about getting a bike for the first time, going to a bike store. It was a little different.
I don't know if I told you this or not, but I think I did bring it up in a previous episode. I think Gordon Jump was mentioned, that I bumped into Gordon Jump at the Baskin Robbins by my house one day.
Really?
And apparently he lived down here because I just found out, Scott on tape, somehow he brought up Gordon Jump the other night, and I said, "Oh, I met him at Baskin Robbins by my house," and he goes, "He's buried by your house." And I go, "I didn't know that. Apparently, his grave is right near here." So that
was Mr. Carlson's real name, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
He was also the original Maytag man. Yeah,
and he was also the grandfather to Mike Seaver and the Seavers on Growing Pains.
Yeah,
and an ice cream enthusiast.
Well, yes,
like
apparently.
me, like me.
And me.
I bet you he had more exotic flavors than you. I got to tell you, Wednesday, when Michelle and I go anywhere, I drive her insane because I do my Wednesday impression, which is really just Richard Christie from the Howard Stern show.
That's my favorite.
But we go for ice cream, and I go, "What flavor do you think Wednesday would have?" And then I go, "He's not going to have pralines and pecans or any of that, you know."
No, but I do try a bunch of stuff out. I go to this place called Minchie's, which I love, and I try a bunch of different stuff out. They have the pineapple Dole Whip there.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was only available at Disneyland, but apparently
No, they've branched
Minchie's.
out.
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt this conversation because we're talking highbrow stuff, but someone wants an FMK, and this one seems interesting.
Now, are we talking like early Hillary Swank? Because we're talking current. This is going to be easy.
No, I think we're talking the next Karate Kid Hillary Swank. You know,
How about Hillary Swank with the Boys Don't Cry movie? Was that the one where she had she was playing a boy?
Well, no, I think she was playing a girl who acted like a boy. I believe is what really happened.
Yes, you're correct. Yes,
she was, but she was assaulted. It was pretty highbrow. It's Pride Month, by the way, but it was a pretty rough scene and rough.
That's all I can think about with her. So I'm gonna have instantly. I have to get rid of her.
Yeah,
two-time Academy Award winner.
Just knowing where they are currently, I'm gonna have to get rid of Hillary. I think I'm going to. Well, this is a tough one. These last two are tough. Probably.
Jessica Biel who is she? She's
Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. I know.
Wow.
She's
that's
hot.
a tough
Kate
one.
Beckinsale is English, so that could be good or bad.
Yeah, but she's got a cool voice. Like she could like talk you to sleep at night and go, "Oh, it's time to go to sleep there, mate." That was my terrible.
Oh, that was felt like I was back in London.
Go to sleep.
If I close my eyes,
why are you still awake? Why are you still up right now? Right, you need to go to sleep, right?
Like that.
If you don't eat your pudding, you can't. You can't. If you don't eat your meat,
you can't have no meat if you don't eat your pudding. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Who wants to go first?
I mean, Kate Beckinsale. She looks cool in all those underworld outfits. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, leather kind of patent outfits, and if you had a werewolf,
looks like the Baroness from G.I. Joe. So I might have to marry this one.
I think I'm going that route. I actually interviewed Kate Beckinsale on the set of Underworld 2 in full costume, and it was pretty awesome.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. This is a tough one for me because there's something about Hillary Swank I like. I like that she was in 9. Don't worry, Sean, I'm getting rid of her. But I like that she was.
Man, it's your penis, not mine.
I like that she was in the Karate Kid movie, even if it's the worst one. And I like that she was in 90210. And there was something I thought was hot about it. I bet she's very cool.
She was in 90210? I don't even remember that.
Later.
Wait, we need to retract that statement. You're leaving out the Karate Kid remake.
Well, no. Oh, yeah, true. Well, it's better than that too.
Yeah, it's better than the Will Smith son.
Yeah,
whatever his name was.
I wouldn't. That was unwatchable. But so I do like her, and I bet you she's cool. She took her Oscar and went to like In and Out or something crazy. I forgot what it was, but I don't know. I think that I would like to have relations with Kate Beckinsale. I don't know if I could put up with her all the time. Jessica Biel is less famous. Kate Beckinsale is probably her and Swank are a toss-up.
Isn't Jessica Biel married to Justin Timberlake?
I think so. Well, that's
really?
Yeah. So if she divorced him, she might have half of that. I'm thinking I'm marrying Jessica Biel. I think effing Kate Beckinsale, and I think Hillary Swank has to go. I think. What do you guys say?
I'm gonna have to stick with. I'm gonna have to marry Kate Beckinsale just to hear her English voice, just to say. Just imagine she could intro your show like waste some time with Jason Green.
I would like to hear the two of you talking back and forth.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kill any werewolves today?
So, how'd you get into that costume? And
Yeah, you must have to oil her up. I mean, or baby powder, or somebody said I did a great impression. I don't know who the impression was. It can't have been Wednesday.
So I agree with Wednesday on the choices.
Yeah. Okay.
But I wouldn't be mad at your choices either, Jason.
Yeah, it was
Actually,
a good.
I think any way you go with these three, I'd be happy. So.
Very good point. You can't go wrong. And someone points out, definitely better than Jackie Chan's Karate Kid. Well, one of the biggest reasons why that Karate Kid is so silly is that Jackie Chan practices kung fu, not karate, and the Karate Kid was from Okinawa. And there's a lot of discrepancies. But hold on. I got to see if I can answer this. This is ridiculous.
what are they making?
No, I can't put. I don't think I could do it. I don't think it would be. Wednesday doesn't even know who some of these people are. But I will say thank you for the $5, and I'll put I'll put it up, and I will say that they're asking Wednesday to judge between my significant other, Sean's significant other, and just.
What kind of question is that?
It would not be a fair question for Wednesday.
That's not fair
to answer. But for $5, I will put it up. This Clint is trying to play the game, but this is not a good one because you gave us an easy out. Janet, Chrissy, Mrs. Roper. I don't think any of us
banging Mrs. Roper.
Yeah.
Right. In this case, well, I don't know. I would say I would F Janet, marry Chrissy, but Chrissy was a bedwetter most of her life.
I'm marrying Chrissy, banging Mrs. Roper, and getting rid of Janet.
Whoa.
Because I want free rent.
Yeah, that's true.
You're right. I want to go with your strategy too. Plus, who knows? She may be cool to hang out with, like after 10 p.m. or something.
She seemed pretty cool. Yeah. Michelle's upset you didn't answer that. I think.
Yeah, I think she was hoping to be picked, but like a softball team, last to be picked. But Craig is wondering if he gets a refund. I'll do better.
You can answer. I can answer. And Wednesday should just do the politically correct answer. I take nay.
Oh, right. Yeah, but then what do you say afterwards? Do I? Well, no
out of
offense,
respect, I kill Michelle out of respect because you're my friend.
Right.
And relations with Jessica, but marry nay.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That's like a trick question.
And it puts Wednesday in a weird position.
It does.
But I don't think Wednesday's ever met Nay. I'm not sure Wednesday even knows what she looks like.
I said hello. I don't know if I could. I've seen her in rapid situations, so I don't really like. It's been quick, like saying hello, and I think you said hello to her at the convention and Monster Palooza. We said hello to her.
Oh, and we met her at the Halloween show, but she was busy doing other things.
Like I said, it's always been it's just been chaotic. So it's never been like we haven't like sit down and talked like we all have before.
So after next Friday night, then you can ask the question again after he's gotten a good look.
Yeah.
Yes.
After we come over to hang out. All right. So we'll get back to the questions because we do need to finish talking about the Hollywood show.
Marcus.
Dave Eckelby is waiting for his plug. And here we are just randomly getting into things. But again, if someone super chats, I will stop the chat, interrupt. So we go back, and this picture, by the way, was taken frameless. This is without the glass has already been gone at this point. When we got back, I told Sean, I want to take a picture with Sid Croft. I hate to say this, but I'm not a rich man. And there's a part of me that likes to see what I can get away with at these conventions. So
I watched you get away with several things there. You just went right along, and it happened. I was like, all right.
I got away with a little bit. Listen, in this, if we go to hair metal meltdown, it's kind of my people. This show gears towards hair metal meltdowns. But if you go to one of these conventions, everyone knows Sean, and people come over to talk about his channel, talk about the guests. But Sean has an in, and all these agents, they take care of each other. I don't think that's unspoken. He says it in his show with the other agents. You know,
I did
hey,
pay some money though. I
well,
dropped.
you definitely did.
In fact, I even paid money for people that I was told that they would hook me up, but I just didn't want to bother the agents that were busy. So I get so many free autographs and photos at these shows that I don't mind paying once in a while. It's no big deal.
Some of these people also, you know, Sean, we talked about it. They're not making that much money, and it'd be nice to sometimes you support. Sid Croft's fine. I don't mind getting a free photo with Sid Croft. But some of these other people, yeah, definitely, as you said, you know,
I wanted to pay Sparky Marcus, you know,
and yes, Sparky Marcus is definitely one of them. I'm trying to find my photo, but so when we got back after they destroyed the frame, we kind of we knew that we could get away with the whole. Sean owns a piece of Sid and Marty Croft's estate now because they broke his frame. They felt bad, and so when I took the picture with Sid Croft, he told me very sternly, "Oh, you don't want to get too close to Witchy Poo. Some ruffians were over here, and they knocked things over." Wednesday is a detective, and he solved it. We believe Wednesday has a lead. Who do you think knocked that frame over?
I think that guy in that Slee Stack costume did it.
It was a Slee Stack. Yeah. You don't have to say costume. It was a Slee Stack.
Slee Stack.
All points bulletin. If you don't know what he looks like,
he was oblivious. He was standing there. The picture was behind, and he probably did like if this was a courtroom scene, it would be like, Your Honor, he did this, and he turned, and the picture fell, and then he
couldn't see.
That's what I think.
They don't see very well, Slee Stacks.
Yeah.
So
they don't.
The easel, even though the easel was behind the velvet rope, right behind it was the Land of the Lost section, and there was a Slee Stack, and he couldn't see. And oddly enough, when we came back, the Slee Stack was gone.
And he was like, "Oh, it wasn't me." It was like, "Come on, dude."
And
I even called him out. I said to him, he goes, "Yeah, we don't know who did it." And I said, "I heard it was you." And he goes, "I was sitting right here."
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden,
when we left, you were in the friggin' costume going.
Yeah, right.
All of a sudden, all Slee Stack operations were ceased. So it seemed a bit more than a coincidence. We talked about on the show the Land of the Lost rafting expedition opportunity. And Wednesday, you were excited. You didn't know about this.
No.
Sean and I had seen it, but that Will and Holly, the actors, will allow you to get in a raft with them. You'll suit up in a life jacket. There is your signed photo.
Yeah.
And so we said we got to do this. Now, I knew that Wednesday and I were interested. Sean had done it before. But so let me tell you what the price of this photo thing is. I said, I don't really need the autograph. I already have it. How about if I just take the picture? And they said, well, a photo op is $40 each. So it'd be $80. So they said, well, we'll do the photo for $80. But then I realized the meet and greet raft expedition would be $100. So for $20 more, I should take the damn autographs, which I did. Sean is now playing the Invisible Man. Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
And so it was.
$100 for the autograph picture, and the raft experience.
So I took one. Wednesday took one, and then they said, "Let's get Sean in there too," which was great. And we got to put together a really fun photo op, as you see here on your screens. There we are. Kathy Coleman up front. She played Holly. In the back next to Wednesday is Wesley
Yuri.
Okay, that was a tough one.
Yeah, and he was like, I mean, talk about a guy that was just into it the whole day. He wasn't like a grumpy dude. He was just like, he was so excited genuinely to meet everybody and shake everybody's hands. Like, yeah, it was just, I've never seen anybody that enthusiastic, I don't think, at any convention.
He was great.
I've known Wesley for about 30 years.
And is he always like that?
He's always been that way.
That's cool. That's super cool because that's
yeah.
an unusual thing. Like it was,
incredibly nice guy.
He looks the same. If you walked into the room and you had to find him, you could tell it looks the same. And he was so hands-on. He wanted people to enjoy this photo op. It wasn't like, give me your money, get in my raft and get out. He was the art director. He was the director of photography. You
hold all the oars correctly, and you hold it this way. Now you do your hand like this. Now you put your it was like, all right.
He was very serious about the way you hold things, the way you act. And people said that I didn't sell it enough. But Wednesday, I think Wednesday definitely gets the award in this one. But Sean is also, he's had experience. This is his second rafting expedition. And but it was a really fun photo, and they did make you feel good about it. And he couldn't have been more hands-on. They were very nice. And for 3 people who grew up on Land of the Lost to say that we were in a raft wearing life jackets with the cast was quite the fun experience. And later in the day, after you left Wednesday stayed longer than I expected. But at the end of the day, he left. I stayed with Sean until the end. Michelle was studying for the bar. I have to stay out of the house while she works. Somebody has to get a real education and job. But they got Corey Feldman to come by in his Smooth Criminal outfit, and he got into the raft. Sean and I were trying to decide, would he go for it? Would he go? Because we didn't think he would take the hat off. And
didn't think he'd put the life preserver on, no.
Didn't think the preserver was going on. And so Sean and I took over Lorraine Bracco's booth. She was gone, and Sean and I stood up behind her booth to get the best view. And when Corey came over to get in the raft, Sean and I heckled him that it's not safe to get in the raft without a life preserver. And he did it. He grew up on Sid and Marty Krofft also. He was probably knew them, and so he's probably around Sparky Marcus's age. Although one looks like Michael Jackson and the other one looks like Sparky Marcus. And so, but anyway, he got in and it was a fun photo op. They're one of those influencer, I hate to use that word, one of those vloggers videos you do see Sean and I up on the table filming. And it was actually fun. And that guy did a good video. I don't remember his name, but he was nice and he was a fan of all the things we do. Go ahead.
I am putting up a video too. I filmed a lot of stuff from that day, filmed that whole thing you're talking about, did an interview with Sid after the show closed. I just haven't had a chance to finish editing it, so I'll get it up as soon as I can.
That's what she said. At the end of the day, when we were leaving, I said the best shot of this to end it would be Sean going to his car carrying a mannequin dressed as Witchy Poo, but without any fanfare, just Sean and a woman under his arms. And so I followed him filming it, and I almost knocked over Barbara Eden, but I didn't realize. I felt bad. But I had to get this shot, and I hope, Sean, it's the closer of the video. Because
of course we'll be the closer, and I'll have to make sure you get additional footage by credit.
Well, thank you. Yes, Sean's good with credit, but and I appreciate Sean gave me a shout out on his show, The Thing with Two Heads, which is him and Academy Award winner Christopher Nelson, where they talk about random stuff, but obviously horror as well. And so I thank you for that shout out. But that part was fun. So we're talking about Sid and Marty Krofft. Everyone is tuned in. 300 people. They all just want to hear about Sparky Marcus. So we went up to his table. Sean had things to be signed. I forgot I had some stuff I should have brought, but I was happy to meet them and take pictures. We went up to his table. There was no wait, surprise. And before I get too into this, I want to point out that Sparky Marcus, I explained to him that we have a YouTube show and we discussed it, and this was a big deal, and that Sean rearranged his entire schedule to meet him. He was into it. He was into it, and he gave me his email address, and he said that he would come on the show. And I considered having him pop in right now. I thought it would be a kind of cool idea, but we thought better of it. We're talking so much off the cuff, and maybe Sparky Marcus doesn't want to play FMK So maybe in the future he'll pop on, and maybe even with Sean's stuff, maybe a little bit more in depth. But here he is. I took this picture after. This is me, Sean, and Sparky Marcus. So he's a child actor. He's grown up now, obviously, and he was the voice of Richie Rich on the TV show cartoon. I watched that when I was a kid. I watched that
I still watch it.
Yeah, Wednesday hasn't given up on it.
Yeah,
And
still watching it as a kid.
And so, Sean, for you, this was the big one for you. You really did change your schedule to stay in town. You had a big convention to do. And tell us, did he live up to the hype?
Yeah, I mean, he did not look like what I expected. Not saying that that's disappointing. He had the very piercing eyes that
his eyes definitely were mesmerizing.
Yeah. He, as a person, absolutely lived up to it. The guy was awesome. He was super fun and down to earth, and it definitely was worth. It also was funny that I made a list, like you were saying. We made a list of all the people we wanted to meet and things we wanted to get signed. I do that very seldomly, but when I do, I almost never even get half of it done because I'm usually working the convention. But this time I actually got through every single person except for one. I passed on that Benny the Jet guy because the agent that was working with him is somebody I can't stand, and I wasn't going to give that guy a penny. So nor was I going to ask.
I love your honesty. One of the things that makes a good guest on this show, especially to talk as much as we do, is honesty. And you say who you like and who you don't like. And Wednesday, for the most part, does too. There's a few people he won't mention, but
his name is Timothy Beale. He's a doofus, and he was there. He was sitting with whoever's table was right next to Benny the Jet. He was sitting with somebody. I don't remember who it was, but I was like, I asked the promoter, I said, who brought Ben? He said, oh, Timothy Beale. And I said, well, that's a hard pass then. Not going to do it.
I thought it was cool, the Sparky Marcus. I don't know if you guys noticed this, because I was kind of standing back listening to you guys talk and observing the whole situation and staring at his piercing eyes, as you said. But he said that was his first convention, and he wasn't expecting everybody to come up and speak with him. And when you guys started talking, he almost got teary-eyed and said that.
He did.
He was like, yeah, I thought that was cool. He was like, man, I'm almost getting like teary-eyed here. This is really cool. So he was kind of overwhelmed by us because I think we probably looked like the three people from Superman 2 standing there in front of him, and then he realized, all right, these guys are cool.
It's really rude to say that Jason looks like Non. That is not cool. But
I was going to think that Sean might be could have the Sarah Douglas if he wants.
Hey, I'll take Sarah over Non. Now I got to tell a story. This is segueing into a story I have to tell.
All right.
This is about 15 years ago. I was at London Film and Comic Con, and I was there with Kristana Loken from Terminator 3. And Mike Tyson was in the green room, and it was his first convention ever. And I was wearing that old 80s rather iron-on T-shirt of General Zod, right? I still own it. And I was wearing that shirt, and Mike Tyson walks up to me and looks at the shirt, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Is that you? Are you General Zod?" And I go, no. I go, that's Terrence Stamp. He would be, if I was General Zod, I'd be significantly older. And he goes, well, who are you? And like thinking that, if I'm in the green room, I must be famous. And I said, oh, I work with Kristana Loken. He goes, who? I go, Kristana Loken. Who's that? I go, she was the female Terminator in Terminator 3. Before I could say anything else, he just makes a beeline straight to her.
Wow.
Yeah.
I met him at the AVN convention. That's the adult video convention, which I am a AVN award winner. But so Mike Tyson was there. Thank you. Show it one day on this. It's a very impressive award. But one day Mike Tyson showed up, and he was talking to some ladies, or so he thought. And I had to tell him. There was a woman named Vanity. She was very famous. She's a trans.
Action Jackson.
She is a trans. Yes, not that one. Although somebody I know dated her.
Oh.
Someone that you all will meet at some point because he works with
Dee Winter.
Huh?
The real Vanity, Dee Winter, or
yeah, the real Vanity. Yeah, someone
somebody
who
dated
plays
her.
drums dated that I know. A friend of mine told me about it, and I
She
didn't
was
know.
a mad crush back in the day.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you off the air.
Air
but I
Train.
don't. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. She. Sadly, she is no longer with us. But anyway, I told Mike Tyson, hey, maybe she's got a wiener, and she was like kind of all over him, and he was kind of enjoying it. And listen, maybe Mike Tyson enjoys a wiener. I don't know. I'm not saying. I don't know anything about it. I don't want him biting my ear.
I wouldn't even insinuate that.
No. Yeah. If he's
Mike,
watching,
I never thought you'd go that way. Just want to say it
and if
right
he's
now.
watching.
Publicly.
And he might be watching.
Yeah.
He's a fan.
And if anybody's watching and wants to bring us those Mike Tyson ear edibles for us to try out,
He does have those, and I would
bring
like
them
to
out
try.
to us
Sean,
too. I'll give them a shot. I'll
Sean,
take
you
a
don't
bite.
you don't mess with that though, do you, Sean?
Not really. I mean, I was given one once to sleep on one of the Walking Dead cruises because I was having a real hard time sleeping. But
It
beyond
would be.
that,
It might be a good
I'm
episode.
asleep right now. That's how much I like it.
I've noticed. It might be a good episode if we each had, and you got to be careful with saying this on YouTube, but if we each had one of those ears, it would be interesting to see how the show would be. Let's say 30 minutes before the show, we each have an edible ear, and then see if the laughs keep coming.
I might have to have 4 or 5 to catch it. My tolerance is a little higher, but I'm willing to try these ears.
Yes, you might need multiple ears.
Ear it up.
But somehow we went into this tangent from Sparky Marcus. Everything goes from Sparky Marcus to something. But yes, and for most people walking around, a lot of people asked us if we were in a band or those type of things. We were the only people who look the way we do there. In some ways, we were younger than some people there. I wanted to give a shout out to the guy who did the video because he was very nice, and someone mentioned him. The guy who
Fonzo 13.
That's him, Gonzo 13.
Gonzo or Fonzo? I thought it said Fonzo.
No, you're right. I think it's Fonzo. He was very nice though, and he came over and he said he watched Sean's channel and my channel, and he's a fan of Wednesday as well. So he was a nice guy, and his video wasn't unwatchable.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah, some people's videos were the real Vanity did not have a wiener, but there was a trans actress who happened to have.
Oh yeah, I know this guy. He's a nice guy, Fonzo 13.
And I never mention anybody else's shows. Okay. Somebody said, Andrea says, come back to El Paso. Well, we got to figure it out. That we'll do it off the air, but we got to figure out how we can get to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre before Wednesday.
I'll be in El Paso. That's one of our off shows that we're adding to our tour. I think that might have Corpus Christi and El Paso are on our list. So bring those ears.
Well, bring those ears. Anyway, but the three of us at some point are going to go to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing. Here's an FMK, and then we'll get back to. I think this is written wrong. I think it's supposed to be Sheila E. I don't think this is supposed to be Sheena Easton. Apollonia, Vanity, or I mean, I'll play with Sheena Easton if you want, but I don't think that fits.
Yeah, Sheena Easton makes it easier. If it was Sheila E., I'd have a harder time.
Yes, me too.
Maybe I bet that's who they meant. Who is Sheena Easton?
She takes the midnight train, or whatever that song's called. I saw her on the one. She sang "For Your Eyes Only."
Yeah,
she looks good.
Eyes only.
I saw her.
And who's Apollonia?
Apollonia. She was Prince's girlfriend in Purple Rain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Prince fan, believe it or not.
Edward
I don't know
Furlong
much
he was
about him
wearing
other
the shirt.
than what Chappelle talked about him playing basketball. That's pretty much all I know. And the bat dance.
This is
That
tough.
dance is best work. For me, this one's easy.
Okay.
Marion Vanity, relations with Apollonia, getting rid of Sheena Easton.
I think
So
I'm with you.
this is Vanity from Action Jackson we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And also from Never Say Die, or Never, what's the one with John Stamos and Gene Simmons?
Never Too Young to Die.
Yeah,
Wow, you got me
she's
on
in
that
that too. So I'm gonna have, even though she's not with us anymore, I'm gonna have to marry her because that's the only person I know.
And don't forget about her full nude appearance in Tanya's Island.
I believe I've seen some photos of that.
I'll have to look it up. Yeah, but Lake Minnetonka is definitely that scene was great. Okay, so let's bring it home. Sparky Marcus. It was great. And he was excited and he was touched. This is a guy who, we'll have to have him on and talk to him because we don't know exactly what he's been up to all these years. But it must be fun to be recognized at these kind of shows. Now, I noticed that he didn't sit with Scott and Johnny, the two kids from the show. I mean, he was sort of on his own. I thought maybe, I don't know.
He was right next to Scott, wasn't he? Wasn't it Sparky, Scott, and
close.
Johnny?
Maybe. I felt like he was a little distant. Sean and I, Wednesday, you missed this. Sean and I watched episodes of Sigmund the Sea Monster with Scott from the show. Wow. Because Sean asked the question, and it's a good one. Where do they film that intro? And so they decided to watch it with us, the intro. It was a fun moment. I will say that. To have the two kids watching the intro with us was kind of fun. Neither one of them really knew. They kind of had ideas. They were kids at the time. Johnny Whitaker being a little bit older. Hold on. Super chat. This one's for Sean, so I'll have to do the math and divide it. But this is for his this is for his Mike Tyson impression. Super chat.
Oh, thank you. So far I've made like $28.50 or so.
Johnny Monaco, you joke, but Johnny Monaco has given me bills. But I took him out for his birthday dinner, and I made the audience pay for it. They didn't make it. They were nice enough to pay for it. So okay, that's. Let me see what else I got. We showed our meeting with Sparky Marcus. We talked about the tragedy that happened with his photo.
About Lee Majors.
Yes, I didn't get to that. I did not meet Lee Majors at this show. I had already gotten the photo up with Lee and Lindsay. I've had it before. But Sean does know everybody. He's a man of the people. And he was ushered in. Wednesday, you left too soon. Sean was ushered in for a private meeting with the $6 million man and the Bionic Woman. And he does have now the photo between them. You both had collectibles to get signed by Lee Majors, and they both were cool.
I got mine right here.
Wednesday had the Fall Guy lunchbox. He's talked about it here on the show. He signed it very nice. He wrote his character name. It came out good.
Get mine?
Yeah, yours looks cool. I would show it off. It's pretty good.
It is good. I had that exact lunchbox in school, so it was exciting to see it. I'm glad you got it signed.
Me too.
We were all on the fence a little bit about how much money you spend on these things.
Yeah, you know what? I would have to say, out of all the people I've met, and I'm not to slag off on Lee Majors, but that was probably the most expensive to get the least amount. There's $100 to get that signed, and you couldn't even take a picture of him signing it. He looked up at me as he signed it and made that look of like, hey,
and there is
$100.
And everybody said that this was in the best condition they had seen.
Yeah, it's pretty immaculate, as they would say.
Yeah,
even Lee Majors.
One thing that's tough with any of these old dolls is this flap is always creased. It gets bent, but this thing has never been bent. So.
That's insane.
Sean did not allow the assistant to handle it. He handled it.
I did not.
Yeah.
He told her, "Listen, sweets, I'll handle it. I'll pass it over." And they understood. I'll show some of my stuff. I will tell you that when you do these shows, you know, even though my audience is so loyal and Stephen Piercy takes care of me, and there comes a time when I got to say, do I really want to spend this much money? So the person that I'm regretting not spending the money on, and they will probably pass away before the show is over, is G.W. Bailey. Oh,
never mind.
Who are you gonna say?
Oh, didn't you just say part of the name?
I said G.W. Bailey is the one for me.
Yeah. Well, you said it. So.
Well, okay. Is that who you thought was most likely to pass away, or?
No, I wanted to try to guess, but you needed to stop because I needed to think about it. But you jumped right into it.
Well,
but he looked. I mean, he was in a wheelchair, but he didn't look too bad.
No, I don't think it was that. Although we should go around and say who is most likely not to do a convention again. We'll do that in a second, so you guys can think about it. But G.W. Bailey, I have these photos, and I probably could have finagled a deal with him though, because the woman who booked him was, I'm going to say it right here, she was enamored with Sean. She was gushing over Sean. She had an English accent as well. But
she was like, oh, Sean, you're so cool. Oh,
she said that Sean inspires her as an agent. No, but she really laid it on thick.
That was the worst English accent of all time.
Well,
thick,
maybe
like Wednesday's accent. Maybe
someone will super chat for it. But she was so enamored with Sean that I think I could have slipped in a few G.W. Baileys and put it on the Sean account. Kate Jackson, these are finished now. These are signed by Farrah Fawcett and Kate Jackson. We did have a hookup. You know, I never think.
I don't see a Jacqueline Smith on there.
No, you're right. It's true. She is living. By the way, I did have a few here that were signed by Jacqueline. They were personalized and signed in a shitty pen. And I thought, just go with the Farrahs. Jacqueline's still alive. Kate Jackson is still alive. They look better without the filter on. She wanted to be sequestered. She sat in a private tent, if you will, and she wore a mask. Even in the photo op, she decided to keep the mask on.
Really?
I think we all agree that if you feel it's your right to wear a mask, but if you feel like it's unsafe, maybe you should stay home or just sign autographs. Maybe she should not have offered the photo op.
Maybe she should have got a mask of her face so it would look the same, and then I would be okay with that.
This is Hal Williams. He was sitting down, and he looked very old. And he
looked brittle, as I would use the word brittle.
Yeah, and I thought there's a good chance I will never see this man again. And I've met him once before. I'm a big fan of Sanford and Son, one of my favorite shows of all time. He's Smitty the cop. And I said, I've got to. When we took the picture, I was good. You know what the joke was? The white guy would say, "Right off," and he'd say, "That's right on, man." But right off. He said, "If I could stand up, I will," and he did. And there he is, Hal Williams.
Well, there's two that I would say are in the running for not doing a convention again. Hal and Marla.
Oh yeah, she looked. If he looked brittle, she looked like paper. She was very thin, very
thin. She looked like she didn't know where she was.
No. I saw her walk through
happy to be there.
The people, and it was she's very brittle.
She was like this the whole time.
Yeah, she looked a little pickled. She is 93 years old today. What a birthday celebration we're giving her.
Florence.
Florence. She turned 93 today. I'm sorry that I said she looked pickled. She might be one of these old ladies though who makes it to 100. I mean,
I don't know. She ain't looking as good as Betty White did. Betty White just looked the same forever. Florence does not look. She's not looking so good, but I hope she does. I hope she hangs in there.
Her TV husband Hal Williams is 85 years old. He'll be 86 in December if he makes it. I hope he does. But Marla Gibbs, she still acts. She was on Grey's Anatomy. You know, Matt's wife is a costume designer. She told me a story about working with her. This is recent, and she still doing her best. She is crazy, but she's the only living cast member of the Jeffersons. That's it. It's so weird to think Roxy Roker, who is Lenny Kravitz's mom, has passed. Isabel Sanford, who played Mrs. Jefferson, who was much older than Sherman Hemsley. She was an older woman then. She's passed. Sherman Hemsley has passed. Franklin, who played Tom Willis, has passed. The neighbor, Paul Benedict, who's also known for Spinal Tap. He's only as God made me at the hotel. Sean, we got to go to that hotel.
Yeah.
Sean, when next time I'm out there, maybe we'll all go. The hotel where they filmed the scene where Duke Fame said, "I've got to go wait for the limo."
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know if Lionel is dead, the son.
I think one of the Lionels is dead and one is alive. The one that was on Good Times, I believe, is the one who passed. I'm not Good Times, excuse me, All in the Family. I believe he's passed. Here's a super chat for Wednesday's English accent. If I knew it was that easy just to ask for these things.
Thank you there. Oh, thank you for the £5, mate. I really appreciate it. Oh, thank you.
Keep it coming. Bill Bixby has passed.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he passed not long after he opened up. No, he didn't. Didn't he do something with the Geraldo opening up the vaults?
I don't think he was involved, although I did work for him for quite some.
I thought he was like I thought he did like a host thing with Geraldo, like he was like the at home base, and they were like on location or something. I mean,
maybe he was a director at the end of his life. He directed the TV show Blossom and a lot of other TV. It's a shame.
Bill Bixby did. Yeah, Bill Bixby did something before he passed. It was on Fox where he was hosting a live event and somebody came in and did a Howard Stern on him.
Right now, there's 227 people watching, 227. It's got to be a sign.
Whoa.
For Marla Gibbs. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
You know, I don't know what the etiquette is, but when you know some of these agents, some of these people, you sometimes can make deals. One of the things that I wanted was a photo with the cast of Mr. Belvedere. I was the only one.
You're the only person there that wanted that.
Not just out of the three of us, but out of everyone who attended. But I thought, I did watch it as a kid, and I thought it would be funny. Now, you should see me try to explain to Michelle what a Mr. Belvedere is. It wasn't easy. Mr. Belvedere was the nanny. He's passed. And Bob Uecker, baseball star, he is also passed. But here is a photo with the cast of Mr. Belvedere. From left to right, on my left at least, just looking at the screen, Bryce Beckham, not related to David Beckham, you could tell. He played Wesley, the smart aleck kid. Next to him is Tracy Wells, who looks kind of the same. She aged all right. And then I'm in the middle. Then next to her is Eileen Graff. People were interested in her for something else. They were getting excited. And Sean went and browsed her photos so we could try to figure it out. But I don't know if we solved it. Did we?
Shit, I don't remember. What's her name again?
Eileen Graff.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what else she was in, and we couldn't figure out. I think we might even look at her pictures. And yeah. But you know what? She seemed to care the most about her look and her picture and her
she was
hair.
Cool. She was cool. She's 75 years young.
I would have never thought she was 75.
She was on Barnaby Jones, Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, an episode of Three's Company. She played Bob Uecker's wife on Mr. Belvedere. But I don't see anything that people might have been so crazy about. But anyway, she was busier than the rest. And the gentleman on the end, Wesley's brother, his name is Rob Stone. And
he was in my dream. I told you he's creepy looking to me, and he was in my dream mowing somebody's yard last night.
It's strange, right? Sean, do you believe the things he says?
Yeah, I have weird dreams too.
I'm telling you, it wasn't any more than that. It was just like, I was like, there's that dude from Mr. Belvedere mowing that dude's yard in my dream.
We hang out in strange places, and it gets into your subconscious.
Really
Speaking about Wednesday, go ahead.
I looked up the Bill Bixby thing. It's either one of two things, Wednesday. He posted two specials regarding the Elvis conspiracy theories called the Elvis Files.
Okay.
And he also had a weekly anthology series about short biographies on famous people throughout history called True Confessions, but nothing about the Geraldo thing.
Huh. Maybe it was the Elvis Still Alive or something.
I think it's that. And I think they were promoting like the Elvis phone line and stuff. I think it was some BS at the time. Speaking of Wednesday and meeting some of his heroes and dreams, here he is with Raj and Dwayne from the great What's Happening. He got to say, hey. And I said, no Roger, no rerun, no rent.
Yeah, he said it. He said it, and they both said my name Wednesday, which is funny to hear grown men refer to me as Wednesday.
You should see them try to spell it. Yeah,
that's difficult. Yeah, he did it. He did it correctly though. It's good. And I didn't notice till later, but that picture, hey, right behind my head in a bubble. That's pretty cool.
Like you're saying it.
It's like, yeah, I'm like, whoa.
You were definitely thinking it. Raj, I think, has something wrong with his eye.
Oh, yeah, he's got a weird eye.
Yeah,
he's kind of like the Beastmaster's dad. His eye's weird.
No reference.
Well, one thing I'm happy for you in your photos. I noticed walking by a couple times, I saw him taking photos with other fans, and Raj would put his glasses up.
I'm one of the fans,
and I'm
one of the ones.
He did it in your photo?
Yes, and
I was like, you need the glasses. That's Raj's look.
Yes, and if I would, and I think he did it by accident. What happens is he bends down to count the money, and Dwayne handles the money, and then he's like looking at us, and then he goes, "Okay, photo time," and he forgot to take the glasses, and that's how I realized that he has an eye issue. So you definitely got the better photo. They were also very cool, by the way, and their prices were very cool. They were
the cheapest, most affordable. I was kind of shocked their prices.
They were $20 each to take a photo. That is incredibly fair at these conventions. And it makes you want to buy something and support the people at these conventions.
It's a bummer D wasn't there though. That would have been really cool.
I'm worried that she might have something wrong for her not to be there. Okay, so that was the day, and then at the end of the day, as Sean mentioned, he interviewed Sid Croft, which was good, and Sid Croft is getting up there as well. But
he may not. His brother, Marty just passed recently, right?
He was the younger brother,
right?
Yeah. Marty was younger. Yeah, Sid's about to turn 94.
Wow. But I was going to say he doesn't look it, but he does.
But the guy, if we're getting into who's last convention, my money is on that HW, or is that HW Wynette, the one that was from Twilight Zone, the Howling Man. Dude, he's 97.
Wow.
He was born at those conventions. 1927, February 1927. He was born, and. Yeah, I mean, if that dude makes it to 100, good luck.
What about Skeletor guy? He was wheelchairing it around too.
And Neary didn't give me my Skeletor autograph. Every time he saw me, he goes, Skeletor, right? Personalized or not? I just signed it. Okay.
He kept calling him Oppie. And I
got to get it from Oppie.
I hate people who give nicknames, especially dumb ones, like, Oppie, and he was saying it like it rolls off the tongue. Hey, Oppie, But and then he screwed you, and so I didn't get GW Daily. You didn't get Oppie. There's a good chance we're going to lose one of them now. Wednesday's anyone you regretted not taking?
The Good Times cast. I kind of regret not doing that, but I got to admit, after seeing your picture, I was jealous, but I also was kind of scared to be near the son. He just kind of creeped me out. I didn't want to get into some kind of conversation with him. I don't know. It was weird. It kind of made me think twice about it. And then you said JJ was kind of out of it. He didn't really know what was going on. So I just,
JJ seemed kind of grumpy. Like one thing about him is he was always famous for that big smile, but every photo he just looked with
no Kool-Aid smile.
Yeah.
He, I was glad I did it. I had met him before many years ago, but I was glad I did that photo op. It was a show I grew up. As we do these, I like these combination photos. I like when you can mix different people in one photo, something that a lot of these people we never thought we would ever get to do that.
No,
with. So
no, it was cool.
I'm trying to get a look at some of these comments before we get the hell out of here.
I thought I saw a couple good FMKs in there.
Oh,
someone
well,
had some more fast food restaurants for me at FMK.
Yeah,
I instantly I knew what that one was.
I was curious about one of these.
Mm-hmm.
One of these fast food ones. I didn't recognize it.
Me neither. I don't know what that one is, but I was ready to kill it.
Let me find it. And also apologies to Bob Euchre. He's come back. He's live again. He's 90. I thought he was deceased, but maybe there was. Okay, which one is it?
Zaxby's, PDQ, and Chick-fil-A. What's PDQ?
What is the PDQ? What is that?
I saw this in scrolling, and I just didn't think that any of us would know.
Well, first off, let's talk about Zaxby's. They're pretty awesome, and they're
pretty
ice. I like the ice in their soda machine. They got the little tiny ice. It's my favorite kind of ice.
Same as Raising Cane's.
I haven't been to Raisins Cane's yet. Me and Jason were talking about it. I might do that.
Raisins Cane's my favorite chicken place now.
Me too, Sean. Yeah.
There's one right near the Safari Inn at the True Romance one, right?
A long wait to get in it, though. I'll tell you that. The drive-through is around the block for that Cane's. It's the only one in that area. Vegas, we have
one right by my house.
Yeah, we might.
Maybe I'll Uber Eats it and have them come to me. Switch it around.
That's probably the best. I love it. And Sean, I will tell you that me and Michelle were talking about what Wednesday would eat at Cane's, because everywhere we go, we decide what Wednesday would eat. And I told him, I said, hey, they've got good chicken, they got good toast, good fries, and they've got good coleslaw. And then I said to Michelle, do you think Wednesday would eat coleslaw? And we can ask the people at home, do they think that? Maybe I can give away a pair of tickets.
I'm telling you, coleslaw ain't happening. That looks almost worse than a salad to me. It's like salad, but just
like mayonnaise and lettuce. It
looks like it.
I don't love it, but I will eat it, and I don't mind. I like the Cane's coleslaw, but we'll have to get double fries or something for you guys.
Do they have the crinkle fries? Or they look like a crinkle fries kind of place.
Yes.
The question also is, and we got to be careful, Wednesday will eat things, but he doesn't like to know what's in them. That's a big thing.
Yeah, if you tell me sometimes, I'm probably not going to try. It's best just to let me get hungry and just stumble around and try stuff.
The cane sauce is fantastic. We know what's in it, but we shouldn't tell you.
When we were in Vegas, I tried a sauce.
I don't know what PDQ is.
You know, I tried a sauce when we were in Vegas, Jason. I tried a sauce on that chicken that probably was like mayonnaise, but I just didn't want anybody to tell me that I ate it.
See?
Anyway. So there is a chance of me trying the sauce, but coleslaw ain't gonna happen.
Yep.
Yeah, you had me on the show Fear Factor and went, all right, you can eat this bull penis or this little cup of coleslaw. I'm probably gonna take the bull penis.
That's a soundbite if anyone's watching and looking.
You heard it. You heard it here first.
Wednesday saying he'll take the bull.
Yes.
Nobody knows what PDQ is, huh?
Can we look it up?
Is that like P dubs or something?
I feel like it's short for something. I don't know what they're trying to do.
PDQ chicken. It's called PDQ chicken. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. So I got to get rid of it. I don't know what it is. Zaxby's I'm gonna have relations with, but I'm gonna have to marry Chick-fil-A because it's as reliable to me as Bojangles. Probably
I like
PDQ.
I like Chick-fil-A.
PDQ has about 60 locations in Florida, 4 in North Carolina, 1 in New Jersey, and 2 in New York. That's it.
That's not very yet.
North Carolina, though, the home of Dawson Creek and Wednesday 13. Sean Brown, who is a channel member and very generous, said PDQ is a higher-end fast food chain with locations in New Jersey. PDQ has no freezer. They sell chicken, sandwiches, tenders, and salads. Unfortunate location by me in South Jersey just closed. Okay.
That's not a good
sign. Something new. We learn something new every day. I enjoy Chick-fil-A. They don't enjoy other. I better not say it. Chick-fil-A's gotten in trouble with their opinions occasionally, but
my biggest problem with Chick-fil-A is that they're not open on Sunday.
Right.
Every time
I have a song about that, and I have a one of my side projects, one of my drinking projects. I have a song about Chick-fil-A being closed on Sunday. You can look it up. It's on Spotify.
What is the name of the song?
The band is called Bourbon Crow, and it's I believe it's what is this? I think it's just called Chick-fil-A. It's Chick-fil-A. You motherfuckers aren't open on Sunday. That's the rhyme.
Well,
True, it's a real song.
good to
I
know.
believe that's on Spotify.
PDQ.
Chick-fil-A, you motherfuckers aren't open Sunday.
We got a live.
These
We
were
got a
drinking
live-
songs. We were woke up. And I always want Chick-fil-A on Sundays. That's why I usually order it on Saturdays and order enough to hit it in the air fryer on Sundays if I'm thinking about it.
I always every Sunday is like, God damn you, Jesus. You know.
I know.
Damn.
Hate it.
We're at the 2-hour mark. We'll wrap up in just a bit, but I want to make sure that in case I get kicked off the 2-hour mark, you guys can host
There
this
was
and collect the
There was
chat.
another FMK on here.
All right.
That was people, not foods. I see a lot of food FMK.
Well, I
here's
skipped
one.
some of these. Like,
That's
here's
probably
one.
safer to play the food ones.
Here's one I'd skip. Mama
All right.
Cass, Roseanne Barr, and Ricky Lake. I mean,
Oh wow! What a horrible FMK! I'm ready to play it.
I don't know.
Let's do it.
All right.
Well, Mama Cass. First off, my mama scared me of Mama Cass. She told me when I was eating, because I love my chicken. When I was eating chicken as a kid, she was like,
she choked.
She's like, she called me Joe, but when you're from the South, you got to say Joa. You better be careful eating that chicken. That's how Mama Cass died.
But she died on a ham sandwich, didn't she?
Everyone knows
She told me a chicken bone. She told me a chicken bone to get me to. That's how she taught me not to eat like an idiot.
The chicken bone thing always scared me because of that movie, The Legacy, when Roger Daltrey gets the chicken bone stuck in his throat and he's choking, and they cut his throat open to try to save him.
It's horrible. But I saw Mama Cass. I didn't even know who she was. If she wouldn't have been on Scooby-Doo, I wouldn't even have known who she was.
Hello, she was in Puffin' Stuff, the movie.
Right.
But that was before I think I saw Puffin' Stuff late. This is like early. I don't think I remember Puffin' Stuff at this point.
I don't think she really died eating a ham sandwich, but everyone growing up believed it. Believe me, we've all. It's a folk.
I heard chicken bone. I'm gonna go with chicken bone.
Roseanne's out.
Well, hold on. Before we do it, I just want to make sure we all thought Richard Gere had a thing for gerbils. We all thought that Mama Cass ate the ham sandwich, and we all thought your friend Sean, Jamie Lee Curtis, it could have been a hermaphrodite. Now, look, this is all nonsense, but us growing up, these are things that we heard constantly. Okay, now let's get serious and talk about which one of these fat broads we. I'm going to get canceled. We're going to get rid of.
Mama
Roseanne.
Cass, we got to get rid of Mama Cass because she.
Oh, dude.
No,
Roseanne.
Roseanne's got to go.
Yeah,
Roseanne's got to go before Mama Cass.
Yes.
Roseanne Barr was she-devil, guys. Come on.
I'm not doing it.
I can't even say that seriously.
I can't do it.
And then relations, unfortunately, with Mama Cass and Mary and Ricky.
I'm with you. I'm going to marry Ricky Lake. She could be fun. She was in John Waters movies, and she could be kind of punk rock. Mama Cass, will roll her in flour and look for the wet spot, as they say.
I've heard that saying. I have. That's an old saying from the sea, I believe.
Yeah, I think Ron. I once asked Ron Jeremy, "How do you have relations with a 400-pound woman?" And he told me that he finds one thing about them that's attractive. Sometimes it's the eyes. Sometimes it might just be a hand. Sometimes it's a boob, whatever. But he said, and he just concentrates on that and thinks of something else. And he told me, and this is going to get me demonetized, but he told me that he didn't always know if he was in them. He said that sometimes it might have been a fold or something. He's not positive that he actually had relations with a 400-pound woman. I don't know how we went from Sparky Marcus to this. So Wednesday, you're going to marry Roseanne or have relations?
You know what? First off, she's going to have the most money. She does have a good laugh. You have to admit,
Really?
her laugh is almost witch-like.
Sean, I mean, we can't say, but Sean does have a connection to Roseanne.
I don't have a connection to her, but I did grow up watching Roseanne. Being a little trailer park kind of redneck guy, I kind of relate to her. So I'm probably going to have to marry Rose. I don't care about her political stuff or whatever.
Oh no, I would bang
So
a lot of bigots. Don't get that's
so I'm just going to have to
anything else.
marry Roseanne. Ricky Lake, I'm going to have relations with. And then Mama Cass, just because she's just not in my time period, and she was kind of weird on Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, well, listen, this is a highbrow show. If Sparky Marcus is watching, or Billy Worth, or the other people at the show who said, please don't hold it against us, because sometimes we do a G-rated show. I enjoy waiting all week to come on here and chat with you guys, because you just never know where the conversation is going to go. Our Hollywood show recap was strange, but we had a fun time at the show for sure. And we all, for once, none of us were working at a convention.
Yeah, that was fun.
Other things. Yeah, we were able to hang out, and most people were very nice. And it wasn't like I said, our target audiences. It wasn't the horror movies. It's going to be a horror convention or a Monster Palooza, as we spoke about. That's where they're going to know Sean. They're going to know Wednesday. And maybe they know me by association with you guys. Some of these things, this Don Marshall, this is Orgy Edition. This is difficult. How do you choose an entire band? I mean.
Oh, that's so funny. Someone just brought up the Lunatics. I've been like geeking out, re-listening to them. I totally kind of forgot about them, and for the last 2 weeks I've been listening to the Lunatics. They're so cool.
I told you I saw the Lunatics open for No Doubt on the Tragic Kingdom tour.
Yeah.
Lunatics, Weezer, and No Doubt. This is tough. I mean, just off the top of my head, I'm going to marry L7. That was the one I liked the most. If you ever saw the video of Donita Sparks at Donington, I don't know if you know what she did, but the crowd was very hard on her, and she decided that she would remove a feminine product on stage and then toss it into the crowd. That's a classy dame. You want to marry a woman like that.
Yeah.
But I would marry them. I would bang the Lunatics. It would be filthy. And then Girls' School are a bunch of old ladies now.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to even play this game?
I mean,
I'm looking at some picks here, trying to decide.
Well, good.
Definitely L7 wins as far as Mary, but the other two is a tough one. Ugh.
It's tough.
I really like L7 a lot too. I think they're awesome, but I think the Lunatics are more my spirit animals, so I'm gonna have to marry them. They're super cool. Their songs I like their songs better. They wrote a song about a spork. Last night I was at a spork, and I instantly started doing their song Spork. L7, they have Orgasm, which is another great song too. But yeah, I'm just going to have relations with L7, marry Lunatics, and I got to get rid of Girls' School just because I wasn't really into them, and I like old ladies.
All right, we got to get out of here soon, but this is an interesting one. Salma Hayek, Charlize, looks like it's spelled wrong, Theron, and Jennifer Aniston. For this one, it's pretty easy for me.
It's easy for me too.
All right, Wednesday, you go first, since you're always the one who shocks us.
I don't know if I've talked about it. I love the TV show Friends. That's probably one of the last good TV shows. But so Jennifer Aniston, I have to marry her. She's one of the Friends.
I'm with you so far.
Salma Hayek, I'm going to have have relations with.
Me too. So we agree on
Charlize Theron, I think she's attractive and stuff, but I just think about some of the roles that she played, and I didn't really like her. I didn't like her in Prometheus. I liked when that giant ship fell on her. Enjoyed it.
I think of Monster, and I can't do it. Sean, do you have anything different?
That too.
Definitely Mary and Salma.
Okay.
This one's kind of tough, but I've met Jennifer, and she was really, really cool. So I think I'd
Really? You've
relations.
met someone from? Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it was at the London Heathrow Airport. I was with Robert Russler, and we were going to, or I think we were heading home from a convention in London, and I look up ahead and I see Jennifer Aniston walking with a big security guard. And I go, oh shit, it's Jennifer Aniston. And Robert goes, where? And I go right up there, and he goes, oh shit, she's a friend of mine. And I'm like, what? And he's all, Jen, and she's like, Robert, and they hug and blah blah blah, and
That's cool.
He's like, oh, this is my buddy Sean. I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. I mean, it was really cool. She sat there and chatted with us for a little while.
Yeah,
Robert Russler also is another guy that I just the nicest guy, so cool to me.
Mm.
And I was just expecting him to be that character from Weird Science, because I'm just that idiot that goes in thinking that sometimes, like, he's just going to be like that. And he was not at all.
I don't think there was a wrong answer to that one. You know what I mean? I like Salma Hayek a lot. I could have went either direction. Salma Hayek breastfeeds starving African children. Did you guys know that?
Does she?
She has.
I want to say that I didn't want to really come out with this, but I am African and I haven't eaten in quite some time.
Starving. Yeah. Hopefully she'll swing by.
Does she?
If anybody could send her this video.
Salma Hayek. Make sure I got my Salmas correctly. She's the one from Dusk Till Dawn, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Does she feed the babies the same way down her feet? The way she fed Quentin Tarantino.
There is a video.
Because that's what I imagine, and that would be.
Google it.
That'd be kinky.
If you're a National Geographic fan, you could Google it. I'm surprised Salma Hayek is not at conventions yet. She's done her first private signings. I feel like, you know, a lot of this convention world is kind of funny. A lot of these actresses who were not very nice, or they had bad reputations in the 90s, 2000s. Shannon Doherty had a terrible reputation. I'm trying to think of some of these other ones. But a lot of these actresses were not known to be friendly. Helen Hunt was known to be one of the nastiest people as far as meeting fans and autographs. She is now taking pictures of conventions. Alec Baldwin is not known to be the nicest. Gina Davis. But if you hit a certain age where you go, you know what? I wouldn't mind going and taking money from these people. And
I think they also hit a certain, when they hear about how much they can make, their attitude changes. It's an acting, for some of these people, it's an acting job. You know, I'm going to go act like I like people and get paid for it.
When you started, Sean, you had to probably convince certain clients, and you probably still have to do to an extent, explain to them what it's going to be like.
Was just on a call today with somebody's son, and I'll tell you guys once we get off here. That person was referenced earlier in this conversation. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, some people get it and some don't. Some embrace it. Rosie O'Donnell was never she was weird about autographs when she was on her show, and she said only for children. She did that SteelCon, and I heard she gave everybody a gift who came by. You could reach into the basket, and she seemed to be. Some people take advantage of the moment and really enjoy it. And some of your clients, I've mentioned Matthew Lillard before, but it's become an experience to get hugged by Matthew Lillard at these conventions, and he seems to embrace it. I knew that he would be good at it, though. I met him at the VSDA convention here in Vegas. This is going back now, 1994, 95, Scream. He was promoting SLC Punk, I think. But when I met him, I couldn't help but say, my mom and dad are going to be so upset. And I remember him sitting on the table instead of behind the table. And he was fun and talkative. And I said, this is the kind of guy who would be great at conventions. It turns out he also ended up having a lot more credits. And it's funny, Sean knows this because he represents them, but people come over with different interests. Sure, Scream's probably the big one, but now he's Five Nights at Freddy's that reaches an entirely different generation. He's Scooby-Doo for the kids in the middle. So it's funny how some of these actors reinvent themselves. Nowadays, when you see somebody at a convention like Ewan McGregor or Jake Gyllenhaal, you no longer think anybody's obtainable. Anybody could appear at a convention. There's no one who would shock me. That Robert De Niro and Al Pacino do private signings is even crazy. So anything is possible. This one is too hard, and we got to get out of here soon. But I don't know who these people are. Maybe Sean does.
Oh, well, I don't know who Sydney Sweeney is. Alexandra Daddario, she's the girl from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D. She's immediately the Mary. Megan Fox, I guess I'd go with relations. Sydney Sweeney, I don't know who she is. I gotta look her up.
She's hot. I'm looking at her. She's hot, but I don't even see anything on here that I think is so. I don't know what her telltale movie is. Euphoria, that's the TV show.
Is Alexandria Daddario, is she the one that has the low-waisted bell bottoms on in that chainsaw movie?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Now you guys got me curious. So I don't, this Sydney Sweeney's good looking, but I don't know who she is.
She's out. Sydney Sweeney's out for me.
Yeah, let's get rid of her.
Wow. Megan Fox has got to be nuts.
Did you ever see?
Yeah, she'd probably be nuts.
Remember first season of True Detective? Did you see True Detective?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's the girl that Woody bangs, the hot one on the couch.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's Alexandra Daddario.
Okay.
She might be marriage material.
100%.
She is. Okay.
Megan Fox is too crazy.
She's too crazy, but you still want to maybe have relations with her, and then maybe get out of there before she. I never saw
you for you.
I tried watching an episode or two. It wasn't really my thing. That's that Zendaya, I think, is the star of that. People like Megan Fox, but she's definitely nuts. I mean, Megan Fox legitimately got canceled, lost her Transformers roles, and supposedly, I don't know.
She was a lot hotter before she started getting work done too.
And she's Machine Gun Kelly's.
That made her less hot too.
And that kind of made her less attractive too to a lot of people.
Yeah.
When she was on that when she was dating David Silver from 90210, I thought it was a little better. But
you know what? I was going to tell you. We keep bringing up 90210. When I travel to Europe, my newest thing I'm going to start adding to the walls of graffiti in between all the penis pictures everywhere. I'm going to write Donna Martin graduates everywhere through Germany, Amsterdam, everywhere I go. I'm just going to write it everywhere just so people will see that and go, what? What?
So for those watching, if you bought your meet and greet to meet Wednesday 13, he will give you a free Donna Martin graduates inscription if you request it.
Yes. I'm going to get everybody in the meet and greet to chant Donna Martin graduates. Donna Martin graduates.
It was, by the way, Shannon Doherty canceled her last convention appearance. I'm worried about her.
Damn.
She has cancer, and you don't like to hear people like that canceling. Sean, not a 90210 fan, but I do remember Donna Martin graduates. We're talking about, I'm joking about inscriptions. Some of these people start charging some really silly prices. I hate to throw Edward Furlong under the bus, but he was $10 for a character name. I mean, come on. And his price was high to begin with, and he didn't offer like a combo. Everyone should have the combo. It's this much for an autograph, it's this much for a photo, and it's this much for both. I think.
He didn't look very busy. Every time we walked by, it looked kind of empty. Like he was always at lunch or gone, or no one was there.
Furlong.
Who? Oh,
Furlong and his lady.
Michael Biehn didn't show up, and I think that hurt him a little bit. I think the Terminator reunion or whatever they were pitching was gone, but apparently Michael Biehn was under the weather. It's too bad because he would have charged $400 for inscriptions. Another overpriced guy. But Sean looks like he's falling asleep, and Wednesday looks like he is.
I'm just sitting here thinking about friggin' Raising Cane's. I think I'm gonna head there when we're done.
Yeah,
nice. At the end of the night, I told you guys I went to a birthday party.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought I didn't know who I was going to see at this party, and I didn't get to meet them. But I was going to text you guys, but I totally got in the moment. But I didn't. My 80s thing did not end at that convention. Another high-profile 80s star walked into the party.
Well, can you say whose birthday it was first?
No, I can't. I don't
Can you say who the person was at the party?
Yes, I'm going to tell you who this person. I was standing there. And David Hasselhoff walked in. Walked in. Yeah, he came in quick and left. I was going to shimmy over there to meet him. But I couldn't believe it. I was like,
What a
whoa.
strange connection. And Wednesday was at a party for a musician. When it's a private thing, so we won't say who it was. I'm not sure people would even know who that is anyway.
Probably not, but
But we'll keep it. But David Hasselhoff, if we told you whose party it was, you wouldn't think David Hasselhoff. And then we should point out that Sean, that same day, Chris says he has a hero car from Knight Rider, and he invited us to see it. He invites me to a lot of things, and then I never follow up. But who knows? Maybe we'll go see a Knight Rider car. I got a feeling there was a lot of them, but
yeah. So it was just a really cool, weird day. I was like, what a capper on that end of the night. It's like, who else could I run into tonight? And then Knight Rider comes walking in. That's pretty cool.
All right. It'd be cool to see Matthew Lillard at the Silver Screen Con this year.
Bring a picture of him with you and hold it up while you're there.
Yeah, and remember, those of you who are watching, remember that it's coming up fast. You'll see me and Stephen Piercy and Sean Clark and Ozzy Osbourne at the Mad Monster Con. So come out to that. It's going to be fun. The July 14th through the 16th. And it really is going to be a fun thing. 3 days sounds like a lot of days, but there's going to be all kinds of cool people there. Audrey Griswold from Christmas Vacation. Juliette Lewis will be there.
The hitchhikers there.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. And if you're in that area, and I just interviewed Pete Lauren from Trickster today, and I think he's going to come by. I told him he should come say hello. And it was a good interview. It airs Monday. Oh man, I some of these are tough, and I'm trying to get out of here. But Winona Ryder, Sadie Frost, and Linda Blair. I would have to look at Sadie Frost. That's one you guys. You know who she is?
No, not right off.
No. If Sean doesn't know, she's English. I see. If Sean doesn't know.
Oh, you're talking about Sadie, the red-haired girl from the Dracula movie, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, she was.
Oh, her.
She was cute.
She turns 59
and she had the English accent like me, the way she talked. Oh, she talked like this. Oh, come in the night, Dracula, and make the love to me.
Here come the super chats. She's 59. I guess it could have been back then. It's too hard to play with people that we don't know. Maybe if you would have put Sparky Marcus in here, it would have been easier. But Winona Ryder, Linda Blair, we would probably win. But I mean, Sean, do you think you could do Linda Blair?
It'd have to be 80s Linda Blair.
like Rick James, Linda Blair?
Yes.
Yeah.
Savage Streets.
Like
or
Savage Streets, Night Patrol. Yeah.
When then she was
Night Patrol. What a great movie, Night Patrol. Funny
Fantastic.
You mentioned that.
That's one of my favorites. Marita's best performance ever.
Oh,
that's the best scene.
Nice.
Your pee-pee.
I've tried to tell people about that, and they just look at me like I'm an idiot. I'm trying to. It's the funniest thing you'll ever see. Yeah. Like, and you just sound more deranged as you explain it. But I agree with you 100%.
She would not be happy if she knew we were going to go to Cane's. I'll tell you that. If she knew that we FMK chickens.
Yeah.
She went before it. All right, so we're agreeing that we would. I forgot the choices. Oh, Winona Ryder, you can't marry her. She's a shoplifter.
Yeah, she'd steal all your stuff.
I wouldn't trust her with my stuff.
I'd have relations with chained heat Linda Blair without a doubt. I mean, she was something then, but you don't want to marry her. She's nuts. And then Winona Ryder, she would steal our collectibles.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I guess we're going to have to, well, you can't get rid of her. Oh, this is tough. I think I'm going to marry the shoplifter, F the strict vegan, and I don't know Sadie Frost well enough, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
Anyway, I'm glad that people are enjoying this. I appreciate everyone who watched, and it's time to say goodbye. So I want to make sure that you guys know Wednesday 13. You can go to officialwednesday13.com and you can see him on tour performing the music of the Murder Dolls, maybe for the last time. So
For the last time this year till we book more stuff next year, probably. But you know,
yes, but then it could come back.
It's not going to be solely that next year.
Yeah, well, you have a solo record that you'll be working on soon.
Yes.
Sean Clark, check out his YouTube channel, Malfunction. Sean, what's coming up on the channel next?
I guess next would be the Croft video from the Hollywood show. That would be next. I just filmed 2 days. I was a major video. Rented a place out for 2 days and can't really disclose what it is yet. I think I told you guys about it.
Yeah,
but,
that's cool.
That went amazing. And the main guy that I was talking about who was going to be in the video did come and spent the whole day with me. And that's going to be a good one. So hopefully I'll be getting to work on that soon after.
Yeah, that sounds great. Sean, I got to tell you, me and Michelle were saying every year you guys do the OC Fair, and there's some good concerts there. But I love your videos where
That's
you and
coming up.
Nay. Yeah, I love when you and Nay go to the fair and order bad food. But I think it would be better if Wednesday came along as well, because I'm curious, out of the things you guys order, what Wednesday would eat.
How about this?
Fair food, like cotton candy and like elephant
Weird
ears.
shit.
They have those out here. That's what they used to
have
call them.
that. But the Orange County Fair is a massive fair, and it's definitely a throwback. They don't have fairs like that in every city anymore. They have a great concert schedule. 2 nights of the Stray Cats. That's a cool one.
Wow.
Orange County Fair.
So, but when do you leave Wednesday? When do you leave on tour?
August 22nd or 3rd is when we head out.
They're here. Well, hey, if you guys want to join, if we bring your significant other, and we could have a big old fair food video.
We could.
My lady likes the fair. She's trying to talk me, and I'm the party pooper. I'm afraid of. I've watched too many videos of people going and riding rides. And
I don't ride shit. I don't ride anything.
Good. Well,
we go there and eat.
I'll go hang out. I'll do that. Go eat some cotton candy.
What Sean does on his channel, and Wednesday you can go research it, is him and Nay go to the Orange County Fair, and they try to find the weirdest or oddest foods, and they keep track of also how much this shit's going to cost. And at the end of the video, they have a total. Me and Michelle went to the what's the Italian San Gennaro feast, and I made a video. I never put it out. I still have it, but I said I think I'm copying Sean's video, which is okay because there's a lot of guys on YouTube who copy Sean's videos. I can name 3.
A lot of people I probably copied too. So
yeah, well, that's also the other thing. There's only so many things. We call it inspired, but I would love to see. Now, Michelle is careful about gluten with foods. You know, these kids these days. But I will eat pretty much anything I think that Sean would eat. Nay seemed like she was game for almost everything. I didn't see any videos where she said no. Sean, Wednesday is the wild card. How many of these things would he try?
But
Probably
again,
not a lot. But let's go try it out.
But we usually just get like a one and split it. We could also do that where we could get one of something and cut it up and everybody just try a little bit.
That's what I think.
And when is this? When does this fair happen? Is it in July, August?
Starts July 19th.
Oh wow! All right.
And tell Nay to get ready to welcome us to the family. But it would be. It really is a fun concept, and it is ridiculous. Some of the foods that and yes, some of it is you have a taste. A lot of these things you don't want to finish. You have a taste, and I think as long as we don't tell you
some good stuff though too,
and there's some good stuff too, yeah. And as long as we don't tell you what's in the sauce, you should probably be fine. It's meat, whatever. What's the Soylent Green? It's people.
Yeah, well, you never know. People can be fooled. My father said he was fooled to eat some stuff in Vietnam that he didn't know. I'm not going to say what it is.
My Jewish grandparents tricked me into eating tongue. I didn't believe it was really a tongue. I've been traumatized ever since. Julie, thank you for. I'm so happy when people watch and say that they laughed tonight and that they had a good time. There's enough stupid stuff in the world. We had a good time.
Lots of stupid stuff.
We'll wrap this up. 2.5 hours of fun, and then Sean's going to tell us somebody's name, but I forgot what it was. But we'll do that when we get off. I thank you guys all for watching, and support Wednesday and Sean in their endeavors as well. And hopefully we'll do this again. Sean, I thought at some point this would be a fun thing that maybe once a month we did, and maybe one time we'd be on your channel. It's always a fun thing to move it around, to different audiences. But that's for another day.
I'd be cool with doing this exact same thing on my channel every once in a while. I just don't want to steal your thing. This has kind of become your thing here. So
well, but that's fine. But I think it'd be fun, and we'll reach a different audience through you as well. And but I enjoy having both of you guys here. I hate everyone, and it's nice to find people. I think we probably all feel this way. So it's nice to find people.
It's fun to talk. We don't have to talk about our normal stuff. I don't get to talk about this stuff with anybody else because no one else knows what the hell I'm talking about. Like Pat Morita from Night Patrol. Google that because it is on YouTube. I've found a video of it. It is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, it is.
I loved wax packs of cards when I was a kid, and Wednesday showed me his collection. And I said, I got to get some more of those. So I got these two. This is Gremlins 2, the new batch.
Oh, wow.
I got Gizmo and Stripe. And then I got to say, before we leave, I got this is a Clark Griswold Mego figure, a Toxic Avenger Mego figure. I had two. There's two of those. I got these.
Oh,
and
I haven't seen that. That's cool.
Junk that I've added.
I have that Toxic Avenger.
Do you?
I have both. I have both. I got those on tour. Some fans brought them to me.
They are great, and maybe one night we'll watch the Toxic Avenger together. I wanted to do that with an audience.
Oh, and I came up with a possible band name for us.
All right.
Oh no.
Pubic Enemy.
Not bad. It's not bad.
I use the same logo from a distance. People will be like, "Whoa, is Public Enemy playing?" No, but Pubic Enemy is.
Maybe in blackface, right? That's in. Anyway.
I mean, if you really want to win them over.
Flavor Flav would probably come guest with us. All right. It's been fun. Yes. We'll see you guys again. I hope I can talk you guys into doing this next week. All right. Well, we're going to be together.
We'll see you all next Friday at the big show.
Oh, you didn't give away tickets.
Oh, you did tickets.
I didn't give away any tickets. Listen, this is what I want you to do if you're watching. Go into the comments and put hashtag waste some time with Jason Green. Make sure you spell it right. So if you're watching and you made it this far, you deserve some tickets. Hashtag waste some time with Jason Green in the comments, not in this live, in the video. And then on the next show, we'll pick the winner. I'll use a random thing, and we'll find another way. Maybe you guys will come back and we'll find a way to give away some more tickets. I got 10 pairs all together.
So 20 tickets total?
20 tickets. I think that's what it is. 20 tickets total. Pair. And and maybe we can give some, listen, Wednesday, if you have an audience that would like it, or Sean, if maybe we can tie it in with everyone's social media, maybe we can pick a winner from Sean's Malfunction and Wednesday 13. It helps if you live in the California area. I hate to waste the tickets on somebody who can't
waste some tickets with Jason Green.
Yes.
But we'll tie in all of us. And yes, you spelled it right, but you put it in the wrong place. Do it.
Maybe we could take those tickets and do what Steve Summers did with them.
Scalp them. Yeah. Backstage passes. We sell everything. Yeah.
Maybe we could hire another band to play the Honda Center and get them to sell those tickets and somehow make some money back. I don't know.
Hey, wait. Did you call me a scalper?
Exactly. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you again. We're going to follow us all on social media. That's how you get the tickets. Wednesday, his name is Mr. Mother Effer. He really is there. I don't want to say it. Sean's is on the screen. I should be doing that. Malfunction. And mine is JSIN _Green. Anyway, we'll give you some tickets. So thank you for watching. We'll see you again.